Not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo. Even out, settle scores quick. Our disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your bytes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M. Bison with 8 straight perfects. Overbold emotions make hate break circuits. In case you heard, it's a name fake service. Optimize our runtime to escape verdicts. Got an integer scope flow that they can't sign. Passing code, didn't sanitize command lines, landmine. So before they'll see me after, I'm advice star, courage, woke plus velociraptor. Don't prove we're human unless we really have to. My team built schemes that destroy, recapture. Hate what they see, finish this chapter. By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. I'm just waiting till my BlackBerry dies, cause I'll replace it with the Raspberry Pi. Don't compare to this track, it makes everything they said dull. Neutralize any threat, turn Red Skull to DevNull. They killed virus writers that we mentioned, but instead they ascended to the VX heavens to reincarnate as live wires. Still inside we hide ciphers and sign device drivers. Which school will we hit next? They didn't learn the format, so we've got a print F. Next step is a chin check. Freestyles that I spit best, they didn't decrypt yet. I crush internet MCs and rhyme battles. Get your Wi-Fi tackled, hacked by pineapple. I don't think you'll like my Snapple, cause I popped it with vodka in a cyanide capsule. We drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things.
You know there's gonna be security, right?
First we drink all the booze, then hack all the things. Then backdoor the firmware on anything you bring, regardless of the hardware, service or encoding. Connected to the internet and someone's gonna own it. This is for the pirates that clap and love the sound. Attacking from the cloud, then we're back in underground. There's no masking from us now. We pop tornadoes around the globe, track and hunt you down. Hacked on schedule, added to your calendar. Devices online, here comes another challenger. State infiltrated, so undercover. This is for my comrades who stare at the debuggers and trace every buffer. Examining the code flow, haven't been to sleep, better pop another no-dose. I think I'll need a planet-sized urn, cause some men just wanna watch the world burn. Your turn.
Stay out of jail.
Technologically possible, yeah.
Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring.
I mean, these servers have more firewalls than the devil's bedroom.
Hack all the things. Drink all the booze. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. Hack all the things.
Yeah, well, good luck, man.
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone around, welcome to UHC!
Yes, welcome everyone.
to UHC. Tonight we have one more match of our CTF here live on Twitch. And I believe this is our 29th edition, I'm going to say, probably. Who knows? Maybe. Yep, probably. Welcome back, everyone. It's very nice to have y'all. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to be here with, Intaty from Dual Core Music, which is my Valentine. So we're going to celebrate tonight together. For those who don't know me, I'm your host, Marina Chavada. I'm a social engineer from Brazil, living in the US right now. So UHC CTF, for those who don't know, the Ultimate Hacking Championship CTF is run by Hacking Esports. That is also a Brazilian company. UHC creator is Igor Rinconen. He founded Hacking Esports company and turned UHC into its first hacking competition. So the idea is to have even more CTFs, and in the long run, make CTF, bring hacking and esports together. So make CTF, turn CTF into an official esports. So having narrators on a live CTF stream is something that's not super easy to see around. Sorry, y'all, I'm from Brazil. English is not my mother language. It's my mother language. So you're going to see me struggle a little bit with it throughout the nights, but please bear with me. So there's a whole set of UHC social media profiles. If you like the idea, if you like the championship, this is your first time watching, you want to know more about it, go to our social media. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have a bunch of social media actually, and we have the Discord server. Now, the Discord server is the important one because in the Discord server is where people get together to play other CTFs. You can meet all the players, the actual players from UHC there as well. You can get to know the fans, you can get to know our community, and you can play the qualifying rounds there. So if you want to play UHC, the Discord server is where you're gonna have to go, because every Saturday we have the qualifying rounds there, and the top 10 players who qualify in the qualifying rounds get to play here live on Twitch with us on the private Discord channel. So the Discord link you can get from our bot here on the chat. You just have to, ! Discord, and you're gonna go to our public community Discord. The Discord channel that we're going to watch here tonight on the CTF, that is a private channel that only us hosts have access to. So I know y'all going to ask, I know y'all going to see the screens, but you can only watch that here on the broadcast with us because you do not have access to that one. You're going to understand real quick what I'm talking about. I would like to thank to all of our sponsors tonight. Crowdsec, Bug Hunt, Axe Labs, and Hackety Inc., all Brazilian companies as well. We just had Offensive Security with us and Hack the Box with us, and we're going to have a few surprises for this month as well. I cannot give any spoilers, but just it's going to be worth it. It's gonna be pretty fun. So tonight we're not going to have any giveaways. But we're going to have our awesome match as always. So please stay with us. And thank you to all sponsors and partners. Thanks to them, we can, give cash prizes to our winners. Tonight's winner is going to take home 500 reais, which is around $100, $100, a little bit around that. And every week, UHC happens weekly, so every week we get to give cash prizes to the winners because of our sponsors. So thank you very much. All right, so I am going to bring here my beautiful co-host of tonight's match, my husband and my Valentine. Happy Valentine, sweetie.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yee, happy Valentine's to us. Hi. So you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Everyone joining us, thanks so much for being here on this Valentine's Day. We are all together, and that's awesome. My name is Int80. I am a rapper in a group called Dualcore. I hack computers and make rap music about it. Little known fact, I actually started hacking computers before I started making rap music. And my first ever rap that I wrote was about hacking. There was a kid that I used to program with and hack with. And we talked about hip hop a lot. But then one day he sent me an email with a rap verse that he wrote about how he was a better programmer and hacker than me. And he kept bugging me to make a response, like write a rap verse, to counter it. And I was like, no, like I'm not a rapper. We just listen to hip hop. But eventually he bothered me enough that I wrote my first ever rap. And it was about how I was, in fact, a better hacker and programmer than he was. And that is how I got started making rap music. Now I've got a number of albums available through Dualcore, my producer C64 and I, making awesome hip hop, and a solo EP that just came out last month, a couple weeks ago, called Loyalty. And you can find all of our music on all of the main platforms wherever you get it: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Tidal, wherever you get music, you can find our stuff. So yeah, go check us out, and I'm super excited. I think we've got a lot of new players this week, or a handful of new players. So I'm really excited to see how everyone does, and we've got an awesome guest host. So I will leave it there, and then we can bring in our amazing guest host.
All right, so as y'all know, we are your hosts every week, and every week we have also a special guest that comes here with us to comment on the CTF. So I see a lot of people here on the chat cheering for him already. But just so you know, our guest is not playing the CTF. We are all commentating. But let's bring him here with us to talk a little bit about himself.
Hey.
Hi, Saturday. Welcome.
Hey,
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Zero Day, also Ryan Montgomery. I appreciate everybody in the chat. There's a lot of love, and I appreciate you guys letting me host this. Dualcore has been a rapper that I listened to for a long time. It's been not only a rapper but a friend of an old business partner. So very small world in the hacking space. So I feel blessed to be here, and I appreciate everything.
Absolutely.
And I know for a fact that you've been watching UHC for a few editions, right?
Yeah. I watched it, and I liked it, and I said I want to be on there. I want to host it. And I'm looking in the chat saying repping the THM shirt. So try hack me, but no official sponsorship here. But
yeah, and that's a pretty impressive credential that you kind of left off of your resume in the intro there, is that you are the top player on Try Hack Me.
Yeah,
amazing.
Number one on Try Hack Me, and I've been hacking for about 17 years. I at some point during the stream, I'll pull my camera off and show you back when payphones were a thing. I got a payphone next to me.
Nice. And then when you say, don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask.
Yeah, that's amazing. Super impressive to be top of the board on a platform like Try Hack Me. There's so much content, so much variety, and the fact that you have been able to master and demonstrate all of that is just phenomenal.
I appreciate that, and I've been working very hard to get myself there. And there's challenges a few times a week, and the only way to even get the extra points is to blood the box. And if sometimes I'll be at the office or I'll be in the middle of something and I have to grab my laptop or run to my desk and just to have the possibility of blooding it to maintain that position, because there's Sysmics and Onertian and Briskets and all these people below me that could easily overtake me with me missing a few challenges. So it's been fun and stressful at the same time.
I appreciate that tenacity to stay on the throne. That's amazing.
No problem.
So have you ever thought one day in your life you would see CTF being broadcasted as an in an esports format? Have that thought ever crossed your mind ever?
Absolutely not. I came from the IRC and forum communities, and our form of hacking was a little less simulated, and now getting into CTFs and seeing that people are creating real life environments for us to practice what we enjoy doing, and now there's competitions for money, just as if like a Sunday night football game, and we're sitting here hacking computers, and it just blows my mind. I can't say that I didn't expect it, because it's been my passion my entire life, but it's surprising, I guess, at the same time.
Super cool. Yeah, I'm always impressed by the players on here as well. Like these players are in a really tough situation with a max of maybe 2 hours and change to work through this environment, and sometimes they get it super fast. I mean, just the fact that you can play under pressure like that is really impressive to me.
I appreciate that, and I just want to say again, that I appreciate all the support in the chat, and Def Hacker, thank you very much. Sean Callahan, Rick Glesser, everybody's supporting me right now. I really appreciate everybody, and it's humbling to see everybody come to watch. And if I think my family's actually watching too, so
Nice.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I told them about it, and they thought it was pretty cool. So bare minimum, I think my dad or my probably both of them. They're probably both watching.
Nice.
All right, so I know, as a matter of fact, we're gonna talk a little bit more about the competitors here in a few minutes. We are a little bit late tonight, so thank you everyone for being here, and be patient. We are just a few minutes late. We're just running into some technical issues, and the CTF should be on in a few minutes. But I do know that we have 5 players outside Brazil tonight, and that's pretty cool. That's historical. Usually all the players are Brazilian, because UHC is Brazilian based, and the company that organizes it is from Brazil, and the main organizers are also from Brazil. So it's so cool to see that here on the English live stream. We got a lot of a great community here. So we have awesome people watching with us from everywhere in the world, like Cambodia and UK and Ireland, and I don't know, so many places that I had no idea were watching us. Now we have 5 players from outside Brazil. So we have Naughty, Mr. Holmes, 0x03F3. I don't know how
He goes by Sukai, by the way.
Thank you. So fucking easier. Jay Maxwell and Disciple, they're all from outside Brazil. So that is just amazing. So thank you everyone from around the world. I don't know where you're from. I don't know if it's 4 a.m. there where you're watching us, but thank you so much for being with us. And now I know for a fact that we can start presenting our players of tonight's match.
Woo.
Woo! All right, let's see who's playing tonight, who qualified for our 29th edition. I got that right. Okay. All right, so first we have Naughty. So I think his first time playing, right? And as I said, is one of the outside Brazil players. I am not sure where they are from. I'm trying to get that info from the staff. Sorry. But meanwhile, we can just talk a little bit more about the players that we know. And welcome, Naughty. I hope you have lots of fun tonight.
Yes.
All right. Next, we have João Ribeiro. So John Rivers, or John the Winner, or John the Ripper, or however the fuck you want to call him, is this brilliant kid from Brazil. He's been playing UHC for weeks now, so he's a veteran. And was it last time he won? Was that it?
I think two weeks ago. I think Silesian won last week.
Yes, that is correct. So after playing a lot of editions, we saw here John winning one of the past editions. So that was pretty cool. Now he is one of the champions of UHC. And tonight we can, watch him play again, which is pretty cool. Welcome again, John. João.
Yes.
I want to do this because I do this with every guest that we have. So we call him John. His name is actually João Ribeiro, which is a common name back in Brazil. But we had to change his name here for the English translation of John because Zentati cannot say the name of this kid right in any way. So he keeps saying João, like Owen Wilson, you know? Wow. So, do you think you can say the word João? It's your day.
João Ribeiro.
That was pretty close. Okay, so yeah, I see why we have to rename this kid.
Partial credit.
John the Ripper.
John the Ripper, or now John the Winner, as
John the Winner.
Nahum Sack renamed the kid. All right, let's see who else we got here. We have Mr. Holmes, so another player from outside Brazil as well, which is pretty cool. As we were saying last time, so we are repeating this info. The challenges are made so anyone can play, no matter where they are from. So the challenges are all built now in English, or having outside Brazil players in mind. All right. So how'd you say this
Suit
name
guy.
was?
Like a business suit and a guy. Suit guy.
Suit guy. Okay. It's gonna be hard for me to remember.
Yeah, easier than O3F3, I think.
A what?
Well, just the numbers, right? O3F3, or the character, the bytes.
Okay.
So we'll just say suit guy, but we're talking about O3F3 when we say suit guy.
Okay. I'm just gonna believe y'all. I'm not even gonna fact check that. So also another player from outside Brazil and also a newcomer. So we have a lot of newcomers tonight. So welcome everyone. We have Mr. Gentleman back. Mr. Gentleman had already played a few editions ago. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah, I want to say 2 weeks ago is when they were first on.
Mm-hmm. So welcome back. Okay, now we have Wade. Wade is a massive winner here on UHC. He has won, I can't remember how many times, I think 3 or 4 at least. So Wade is a big-time champion here on UHC, and he is now back. Another very bright kid from Brazil.
Yeah, super excited to see Wade back.
Yep, I've seen him, I believe, every time that I've watched this.
Yeah, he's on almost every single week, which is super impressive to me. Like I don't have that skill level to qualify in the top 10 every single week.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was brought up or not, but just the fact that they have to go through a qualifier the day before. You have a certain time frame to do the qualifier. One day out of the week. It just shows if you keep coming back, then you have some skill.
You definitely does, and this kid does. We have Hello Friend. So Hello Friend is also a newcomer, if I'm not mistaken. I do not remember this name here.
There was somebody named Hello that played before, but I believe that they are not necessarily the same person.
All right. Okay. So welcome, Hello Friend. All right. We have Salesian. Okay.
Our all-time leading winner.
All-time leading winner is like 5 times champion, if I'm not mistaken now, or 6-time champion. I already lost count.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I was going to say I thought it was 6, but our staff is telling us 5.
Okay, 5. Okay, so it's not that bad.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it's 6 tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
So Salesian, as you can all tell, is a monster. Another amazingly bright kid from Brazil, and he's been winning UHCs like I don't know, like every week almost. It's already kind of a joke. So please, Salesian, if you're listening to us, yeah, give us at least an hour to comment. Just 1 hour. That would be nice for us to have fun here.
Yeah.
All right, so Jay Maxwell, another player from outside Brazil, another newcomer. Welcome, Jay Maxwell, to the competition.
Maxwell.
All right, so yeah, you know him.
Yep. And
Okay.
Disciple. I know both of them.
Nice.
All right, so both of them from outside Brazil. Do you know where they are from?
Yeah. They actually don't mind. I can speak for them on this. Disciples in Texas, and Maxwell's in California.
Texas representing y'all. We
Pew,
are
pew,
also
pew.
here in Texas. All right, welcome to both of them to our competition tonight. This should be very fun. And here are our this is hard to say. Here are our 10 top players.
I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed. We have a player named Naughty, but we don't have a player named Andy.
I missed a joke here.
And is the opposite of not
Yeah.
in logic.
Yeah.
So it was a bad computer science joke, but I liked it, and I'm sticking.
Like he's referring to like not NOT, not.
Yep, exactly.
So amazing. Okay, let's start. Let's start. The CTF has already started. So let me share my screen here real quick.
If you like that joke in the chat, press F. To pay respect.
Please don't. Just let it
Encourage
die.
me.
Jesus Christ.
See, look at all these Fs in the chat.
Fun.
Yeah, there we go.
Why do you do this to me?
Because it's fun.
Put two, so I don't know.
I'm allowed to vote for myself.
All right, so we are officially starting our CTF tonight. UHC is already on. So here are Jesus fuck today. It's hard to say this. Here are a few reminders of for tonight's match. The Nightbot just posted the scoreboard, so if you want to check the scoreboard of tonight's match, you can go to this link here in our screen. And here on our Twitch store, on the Twitch channel, you can buy a lot of stuff with your Twitch points, and you can mess around with the CTF strategy. So you can buy either scoreboard time off. You can bring the scoreboard down for a few minutes. You can buy hints. You can for helping the players throughout the CTF. So Nahamsak, since you're not here to give anyone give any hints to anyone, you can buy your hints if you want. You can also buy screen time from the players. So if you want to watch one player's screen for a few minutes and we're not showing them, you can buy their screen time and we gotta show them here. You can donate to us. You can tip us for us to say, or read your questions here out loud. You can do a lot of cool stuff here on our store. And you can also bet. As you've been seeing here, some people writing exclamation points and exclamation point bet. You can bet your Twitch points on who you think is going to win tonight's match. You can do that by choosing the player according to their Discord room number here on our private Discord. So I'm going to look for the... okay, I don't have it here. So staff, if you're hearing me, and you can just put the player's name and player's room number here on our chat. I can broadcast that here on our screen. Thank you so much. The staff already did it. All right, so I'm putting here on the chat, and now I'm putting here on our screen for y'all to see. So if you want to bet on Naughty, it's room number 1. If you want to bet on João Ribeiro, it's room number 2. If you want to bet on Mr. Who that again? Mr. H?
Holmes.
Mr. Holmes. If you want to bet on Mr. Holmes, you can type number 3. The suit guy is number 4. Mr. Gentleman is number 5. Wade is number 6. Hello Friend is number 7. Salesian is number 8. Jay Matthews, if I'm not mistaken, is that it?
Maxwell.
Maxwell. God damn it, it's another American common name that I completely mistaken. So Jay Maxwell is number 9, and Disciple is number 10. So yeah, if you want to bet your points, bet them now or bet them soon, because the betting is gonna be over at least 1 hour before the end. So in the last hour of the CTF, you cannot bet anymore. Quick reminder, our CTF goes up to 3 hours or whenever one of the players get all the flags, including the root flag. So whichever happens first. And for those taking a good look in the scoreboard, we do not have anyone scored yet, but our CTF, it gives advantage for those who submit their flag first. So even if we have a tie, even if we have 2 players or 3 or more with the same amount of points in the scoreboard, whoever got the points first has advantage. And I think that's pretty much everything you all need to know. And that's pretty much it. Nahum Sack already redeemed high scoreboard. I am going to expose you. I usually don't say whoever is redeeming the scoreboard, but you need to be exposed, Nahum Sack.
I love it. I think Nahum Sack was in the chat earlier saying, like, can we hide the scoreboard already? So.
Wow, that was fast.
God damn it. Who was it? Salesian. Dang, that was fast.
Let's bounce over to Salesian screen. They are in room number 8.
All right. Now we're watching Salesian.
I think there was like a minor issue initially once everybody got on the VPN. You know how browsers default to like HTTPS now, but I think the web app is actually on HTTP. So people were going to the target app, but it wasn't loading in the browser because the browser was by default trying to go to HTTPS, as it should.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems from when I was jumping around streams, it looks like they were grabbing an open Git repository.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, we definitely see, looks like a source tree here. There was a controller that's written in PHP. And so looks like Salesian is kind of going through the source code looking for bugs and maybe has a file include. Oh, no, it's just a file, arbitrary file read using that file get contents API. But you might be able to use that for like reading the flag off of the file system potentially. So Ode, when you find an arbitrary file read from a vantage point of a web app, what are some files on the file system that you like to get the contents of?
Well, it depends on the operating system. So my personal method, I mean, obviously I'm going to look for just to verify, first I'm going to check for etc pass WD if I have an LFI. And then, if I'm going to look for hidden files, like, am I allowed to disclose anything about yesterday?
Yeah, you can talk about the prelims. That's totally good.
Okay. So for example, yesterday in the qualifiers, there was on the root directory, there was a .index.php.swp, which is called a swap file.
Yep.
If you were in a text editor, which some may know as Vim, I'm not a fan, but if you were in Vim and you closed your connection, you didn't save, you have a swap file hidden in that directory. Sometimes that could be a config file, it could be a file with credentials in it, it could be anything. So I won't go further into it, but yesterday that was the first part of the recon flag, I believe. So you want to look for the low-hanging fruit. So if let's say, for example, an SSH key is misconfigured and you could grab an SSH key from an LFI. Maybe my personal preference is to just throw a word list at it full of directories and files and see what comes back. Check content lengths, check response codes, and go from there. But yeah, that's a long answer to a short question, but.
Well, yeah, it's not a short question for sure. I mean, the question itself is short, but the answer should be long, right? There are so many targets that can provide valuable information as part of recon when you have an arbitrary file read, like it looks like that we have here. And
I don't know. I mean, in a case where you might, like a perfect example is you might have an LFI But let's say you can read the Apache logs, then you turn an LFI to an RCE because you log poisoning.
Yep, absolutely.
It's situational.
For sure. And here with this file get contents API that we saw Solution find in this particular file, the upload controller, that's just going to be a read of the file. So it'll get you the contents of the file, but it doesn't include them to process as code. So in this case, I think one of the things that I would look for, especially in the context of a CTF, is if I can fingerprint the application that's running under the hood, would I be able to read like a config file that might have credentials in it? And then could I try those credentials to access a different service or authenticate against a different mechanism?
Right. Absolutely. That's the goal is to get your way in. Whatever.
Yes. Yeah, I always like how hacking is kind of like this Dungeons and Dragons kind of adventure, right? You start out, you don't really know anything about like the environment that you're in, and you just kind of learn more as you go through it.
Oh, for sure. And it depends on the platform, and if it's WordPress, like we've seen the past two, I think the past two competitions started with WordPress. I mean, unless there's something custom running on the server, the first thing I'm going to look for is the WP config file, because if the database, you may have database credentials and then credential reuse, et cetera.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it looks like here there's a file upload feature as well. And man, I'll tell you, like on file uploads, I have like a huge mind map of different ways to target file uploads. So we'll see if that actually pays off here. If you've got a file upload, I would think that you could upload a shell potentially, like a web shell, and then get code exec through that. But that's if the web shell actually ends up inside of the document root, like the web directory, and is not being modified somehow.
Right. Yeah, the name could be modified, the location could be modified. They could have a completely different drop directory. But sure they'll find out. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Solution on the screen now. Let's bounce around. I want to see how these newcomers are doing. Yeah. Can we go up to Nadi and see how Nadi's doing? And I'm just going to check and see whether the scoreboard happens to be back yet. Thanks, Nahamsek.
I'm pretty sure he has enough points for bringing the scoreboard throughout the entire night.
The match is going to end in like 45 minutes and nobody will know because the scoreboard will be down the whole time.
Can you spend points to take the scoreboard down?
Yeah, you can.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In the Twitch channel, in the Twitch store. I just said that's why I'm cheering. He keeps cheering in the chat so he gets even more points. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, so
Z asking how do they get points? You can do a bunch of stuff to get Twitch points. You can just talk here in the chat, and every time you talk, you get a little bit more points. You can cheer to get points. Every interaction that you do here on a Twitch chat, you accumulate points. Thank you everyone for giving me shout outs for this Smirnoff Ice. It's Carnival time back in Brazil, and I'm homesick because Carnival back in Brazil is just amazing. Mardi Gras has nothing to it.
Ouch.
Don't get me wrong. I love Mardi Gras. It's just amazing. It's a beautiful party, and I want to be there every time. But Carnival back in Brazil is just insane. It's insane. It's a 3-month party, not just 1 month party. And we usually drink very poor alcohol, very awful alcohol, so we can drink a lot without spending much. And this is usually what I used to live by on Carnival. And Aunt Katie found it and bought it to me because I'm homesick from Carnival. Thank you, baby. Also, if y'all noticed, we are wearing matching sweaters from Rick and Morty. Yay! Valentine's Day.
Marina's Christmas gifts, and is very, very apropos right now because it is freezing in Texas where we are.
It is. I feel bamboozled. People told me this was supposed to be warm. It's a fucking desert. Where is the warm?
I wanted to say big ups, Nahamsek. Thanks for cheering us. 500 bits seems good. 500, appreciate that. And Igor Rincon Hacking gifting 2 tier 1 subs, super dope. And then folks subscribing to us with Prime as well, amazing. Sorry if I mispronounced this. Freira Bebada.
That's Portuguese. Freira Bêbada is drunk nun in English.
Nice. Thank you. And Suro Live, thank you as well. Appreciate the subscribes.
All right. Nahamsek redeemed player screen. So he wants to check as he's saying, my boy John the winner. Let's check out what John Rivers is doing.
I think like out of all of the players, I think John Rivers is like the best at side channel stuff. Because I think the week that he won, he mentioned about like seeing the streams on Twitch and that taking context clues out of what people were saying on the streams or what was being shown to like get on the right path if he wasn't already on the right path. So we talked about last week how playing the CTF kind of involves 2 separate skill sets, right? It's like the metagaming of figuring out how to play the CTF along with the hacking skill set. And I think out of all the players, I want to say that John Rivers has really solid metagaming skills.
For sure. It seems like we already lost a player. We lost Sukai.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hopefully he makes it back on.
Yeah, it seems like his internet died on him.
Yikes. Well, fingers crossed that they make it back.
Yeah.
Let's see. I know that the text is pretty small, so hopefully we can narrate a little bit of what we're seeing here on the screen. It looks like Ode, as you mentioned earlier, there was like a Git repo that was exposed, and so I think that it's been downloaded here. It looks like I see like a wget up there, maybe, or maybe just the Git. But it looks like John Rivers looking at the local copy. There's a few files there in the repo, and then I guess he reset to a particular commit, and so now he's looking through the commits. It seems like.
Yeah. So in that case, for people that are interested, there's a tool out there called Git Dumper, and if you happen to find a .git directory publicly facing on the internet, you would throw it into that tool. And it does the work for you. It's gonna check out, I believe, the most recent commit. But if you run a Git log while you're in that directory, it's going to give you a log of all the commits associated with that Git repository. So if you ran Git checkout on a different commit, you may be able to pull something that a developer removed in the past, which could contain sensitive or valuable information.
Yeah, huge wealth of info in some of these repos. You can find, old commits where, like you mentioned, secrets have been committed, maybe a API key or password or something like that. And then those committed secrets were not revoked. So, the developer might think, okay, I re-architected the app. I've moved the API key into a different file, which is not checked into the version control, but they didn't revoke that API key. It's still the same one. So if you recover it from a previous commit, you can still use it and begin actions as that whatever that API user is.
For sure, and a lot of developers are pretty descriptive on what they've done. I mean, I've seen a ton of times in my life where it says removed credentials from this commit, or removed API token, or whatever the case was. But they're very vocal about it in their commit updates.
Yeah, and so like you mentioned, looking through the commit log, doing that like git log in this case, you can see that commit message and you're like, oh, this is where I want to look, like immediately. Super helpful. And there's Git Dumper is great. There's a lot of really cool tooling for Git repos. I also like Trufflehog and GitRob are like two of my other go-tos in this scenario. And sometimes I just run stuff manually as well. Like there's like the ref logs and there's a couple different ways that you can like diff everything and then, grep for your own regular expressions of, what a API key might look like, or just, potentially sensitive words like password, passphrase, key, secret, credential, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Oh, just so y'all know, we have one more player in the scoreboard now, Naughty, with 150 points. The newcomer coming in strong after Salesian.
Sick. Excellent. Yeah. And it looks like John is checking out the initial commit, and we see the commit message there, initial commit of the UHC framework. So I'm guessing that this is a custom app. You've got all the source code, so you don't need to necessarily go fingerprinting it much further. So that's good. So now I think that the skill set kind of takes a turn into like application security skills, right? And source code review. You've got the source code of an app. Can you figure out how to find bugs quickly or more effectively than all the other 9 players that you're competing against?
Right.
So Ode, with PHP apps in this case, is there like a specific software tool that you like that can do like static analysis of PHP apps to find bugs?
I actually, off the top of my head, can't think of a good one that I'm not really into static code analysis, and I would say I'm more of a scripter than a programmer. I know a little. I know a little bit of not everything, but a little bit of a lot when it comes to programming. But I try to stay away from the code analysis other than the basics.
Nice. Yeah, in the past, I generally also don't do static code analysis either. But in the past, I remember, I think there were a couple tools that I used, Flaw Finder and Rats, I want to say. But I don't know whether they actually parse PHP. With PHP specifically, though, there's like 17 or 18 different ways that you can run actual system commands on the system, right? There's like the system API, there's popen, there's shell exec, there's a bunch of them, right? So I've got a regex in my notes that like I can grep through a PHP code base very quickly and look for those. And then that can get me started for like mapping out what the code path looks like to get to that particular API call. And then if I can find that I control an input that can get passed into that API call, now I've figured out my path to remote code exec.
Understood. Yeah, that's it. If you throw some source code at me, I may pick something out of it, but it's rare.
Yeah, I think it's more fun in general to just kind of like treat the app like a black box where you're just kind of like poking at it, and you build up with enough experience, you build up instincts and pattern recognition where you say like, okay, I see this kind of functionality here. In the past, when I found this, usually there's this next issue, that's chained to it, and so. It's super valuable to be able to look at apps without having the source code and still be successful.
For sure. It's to be honest, I'm a prime example of it. I try my best not to look at the source code, and I'm doing pretty well in the CTF world, at least. I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, because it's not. It's just not something that interests me. And along with binary exploitation, I know some people are really into that. I can't get myself into it. It's just not for me. If there's a challenge with BinX, I'm asking a ton of people for help. It's like I can do a basic buffer overflow, but that's about it. It's just not my thing.
Nice.
Can we choose another player, as people can barely see what John is doing because of his wide screen monitor?
Yeah, let's bounce up to Nadi, since Nadi is on the scoreboard now. And I wanted to say, like, and I'm sorry for the viewers if you couldn't see it, but it looked like John just got a flag like a minute ago. I saw it, and I saw him grep it out. So we should also see John on the scoreboard, unless John decides to squat on flags. And then here it looks like Nadi is booting or rebooting his Kali VM. So we'll skip Nadi for now, and let's check in on Disciple, one of our other newcomers.
Okay, let's see where Disciple's at. It looks like Disciple's got bitdumper.py, which is the tool I was talking to you guys about. It looks like from what he just had there, he's missing a directory to dump it into, and he's also missing the extension for the repository. But I'm not sure if it's on that domain specifically. I missed the beginning of this.
Yeah, we don't know. I guess I'll reiterate for the viewers. None of us know what the challenges are ahead of time. We don't know the challenges or the solutions, so we are just kind of speculating as we go along.
Right. I'm looking at in his browser.
Oh, right, look at the scoreboard, y'all.
Oh, what's up?
So yeah, we have João Ribeiro now in the scoreboard, as you said. And we also have Mr. Gentleman. So we have
Excellent.
now 4 players in our scoreboard, all of them with 150 points. Let me check. It's the easy flag. Yes, all of them have the easy flag called library. And all of them have 150 points. Salesian is first because he submitted first. All right, tonight is interesting.
And we got Maxwell looking through the Git checkout, looking through the source code of whatever he dropped. Hey, Maxwell.
Nice. Yeah, let's bounce over to Maxwell. All right, Maxwell on screen now, and yeah, I see right in the middle there. That looks like the source code.
It's pretty easy to read it, but it's, at least for me, I'm looking at on my other monitor on the Discord. It seems a little bit blurry, but it seems like he's looking for a place to upload.
Right. Yeah. Good call. Yeah. There's that upload directory that he just highlighted, and in Vim, I know Ode, you said you're not a huge fan, but in Vim, when you end up with these, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying micro, but it's Vim on steroids.
Yes. All right. I'm familiar with micro, so I'm adding that to my list to check out. But yeah, I was going to say, like, here you see these caret M's at the end of every line. And when you see that in Vim, that's because there's like a additional, I think it's a carriage return, or maybe it's the Windows like CRLF, the carriage return line feed. And you can get rid of those. But it's like, it's one of the annoyances with Vim, in my opinion. Vim is my main editor, but it is kind of annoying when you end up with stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably run DOS to Unix on this and it'd probably remove it.
Yeah, DOS to Unix, great utility, good call out there. All right, so let's see, not really a lot happening on Maxwell's screen at the moment. Why don't we bounce, let's bounce over to Hello Friend, one of our other newcomers, see how they're doing. Oops. All right. And setting up Git dumper as well. And it looks like
Aquatone. Are you familiar with Aquatone?
Let's see. Is Aquatone the one? Does it do screenshots of sites?
Oh yeah, it's screenshots with it does screenshots. It gives you headers. It creates a really nice document. You could cat a file into Aquatone after any output of any recon tool, and Aquatone will do its thing. A lot of bug hunters use it. It's in a ton of their toolkits.
I like that because you can visually parse information very fast, right? So if you have like a bunch of screenshots and you're looking for like a directory listing or whatever, it's way easier to like just run through the screenshots super quickly, pick out from a thumbnail like that is definitely a directory listing, as opposed to like having to map and then look for the HTML response.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'll make a comment from my personal life. Being in the healthcare business in my past and somewhat now, a lot of hospitals have 300-400 subdomains, or medical record systems have 300-400 subdomains, and going through each one of those manually when 80% of them are actually just login screens for patients or for clients. Aquatone is a lifesaver in those scenarios.
Does Aquatone have a feature, or is there a tool that has a feature where you can group, similar screenshots into their own subdirectories?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm sure there's something like it that could be. I mean, if there's something out there, I'm unaware of it, but the technology's there, as we both know. It's definitely be done with OCR.
Yeah, I think my duct tape, hacky approach would be to do like fuzzy hashing, right? Like SSDeep of like all the screenshots, and then say like whatever is closest to any of the other ones, put those all in a subdirectory that way.
Okay, of like the actual of the source code of that page, or are you speaking of the actual image?
Of the screenshot, right? Because the pixels are probably going to be similar enough that your body content, if it's all the same image format, right, I would expect the body content to be very similar bytes.
You could probably run a diff with XXD then at that point.
Oh yeah, good call. Look at us, just brainstorming new tool ideas.
Wade, is now on the scoreboard, y'all. 5th place.
Oh, sick. Excellent. So yeah, we've got half of the players are on the board, all with that first flag. So this is a pretty good start. We're not even done with the first hour yet.
Is Marina in Portugal? I find that offensive. I'm from Brazil. Explaining the joke, we Brazilians joke with not liking Portugal because, colonizers usually don't get that along. But I'm just kidding. Shout outs to Portugal. You're dope.
So
Blue Dragon said in the chat, suck it up. That's fair.
On screen right now, we are seeing Hello Friend look through these SES files, which I'm asserting is short for session, and it looks like they're like JWTs, right? They've got like a JSON object, it looks like, or maybe some kind of serialized object that's got some details like is admin. It looks like it's got a binary value or a bool value set to 0. It's got the names as guest. So I don't like what comes to mind for you, O'Day. Like right now, I'm thinking of a couple different things. I'm thinking maybe there's like a serialization bug, or maybe there's like an authorization bypass where you play that one of those sessions back and set the 0 to 1 for is admin.
Yeah. So I mean, for a JWT attack, I'd be trying to set the 0 to 1. I mean, in a serialization attack, there's a ton of different packages for that. It depends on the language that you're working with. But I don't know in this case what they're working with. I'm having some trouble over here seeing their screens. And I did see, okay, so I see the SES here for momentarily, but I don't think that's a JWT. That appears, yeah, that looks like serialized data to me, but I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, I think PHP GGC is one that can do, is a tool that can do gadgets for serialization bugs.
No, it's PHP GCC. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, whichever. But anyways, the point is that the tool can generate these gadgets for you for a serialization bug attack if you wanted to go down that path, which is super nice. I'm not especially good at crafting those gadgets by hand, so I rely on tooling like that PHP CC app or WISO. Yep, WISO serial, exactly. Yeah, and even with those, I don't know enough about like the runtimes or the frameworks, for example, to be able to specifically enumerate and say like, this is, the framework that I need to generate the gadget for. So usually I just go through all of them and try them all, or like I'll be like, this one has worked for me most recently. I'll start there.
Yeah, well, usually with WISO serial, it's gonna be the common collection or what is it? I think it's common collections, right?
Yep. Yeah, commons collection.
Yeah, commons collection. That's the winner right there for WISO.
Woo! Another player on the board. We just saw Hello Friend collect the first flag as well from the Git repo. There it is.
Yeah. Where did he? Okay, that's on. Oh my gosh, on the index.
Yeah, and Hello Friend with the OPSEC to clear the flag off of the screen that's being broadcast to the internet so that none of the other players can take advantage. Well played.
Does that happen often?
I don't think I've ever seen it happen, and I don't think I've seen any players admit to doing it. But I will say, if I was playing, I would totally be watching the streams to try to figure out, like what's the right path I need to be on in case I'm not on the right path.
Yeah. I think I mean, last week when I was watching, and I could be completely off, but it seemed like nobody submitted flags, and then at the end, everybody they were on the board right at the end, and I was wondering, did they all just figure it out, or are they all listening to the stream? So I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, it could also be that on the Brazilian live, they may have announced a hint or two as well to get.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, let's bounce around. So we've got Hello Friend. Let's check on Mr. Gentleman, see how they're doing, because I think they were one of the first people on the board. I want to say like they're maybe the fourth, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, it's first Salesian, then Naughty, then João Ribeiro, then Mr. Gentleman, and Wade and Hello Friend.
Nice. And I just wanted to remind everybody, I think betting closes at like the halfway point. So if you haven't bet your Twitch chat points yet, feel free to do so. Marina, would it be possible to like put the players back on in the like announcement
Yes.
banner thing again so that folks can get a refresher for what room is what player when they want to bet?
Yes, let me do it. All right, here we go, and on screen right now.
Nice. So yeah, if you want to bet on Nadi is in room 1 or player number 1. John Rivers, player number 2, Mr. Holmes, player number 3, and so forth. And we are currently looking at Mr. Gentleman, who is in number 5 for the player betting, and on the scoreboard is in 4th place currently. And they had Burp up, and it looked like they were setting up some kind of like file upload, and it looks like there's a JSON. So yeah, here in the code we see move uploaded file, and then it's like getting read in as JSON. So I'm kind of thinking here, deserialization, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. We saw those session files, so maybe you create some kind of a serialized payload and then upload that through the file upload feature.
Yeah, it appears to be that way to me too. It's kind of tough being on this side of things, watching the streams and trying to keep up with everybody and path and try, because I'm trying to like do this competition in my head.
Yep.
And I'm trying to speak to you guys, and it's kind of tough to keep up with everything.
It is super fun, and I got to say, to me, it's way less stressful to be on this side of the screen. I think like in a week or so, I might be on the other side of the screen, and I'm moderately nervous about it. Naham, sorry.
and that's the crazy part, right? So we have the Brazilians, for example, listening to both of the streams. They are already playing a very fast CTF. CTFs are usually 24 hours at least, 2 or 3 days. This is a 3-hour CTF. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes it's way faster according to the players. And you have a lightning CTF going on. You have the scoreboard going down because Nahamsek keeps buying it, keeps putting it down. You have not only our stream, but you also have the Portuguese stream as well from the Brazilians, the other Hacking Esports Twitch channel broadcasting it at the same time. So you have 2 streams with live commentators talking about the CTF, and one of us may give a hint or we may not. So you probably, you have to listen to both of the broadcasts and play at the same time. And, people watching are also playing around with the strategy by buying some players' screen time or bringing the scoreboard down and so forth. So it's a lot going on. And on top of that, players might be sitting on flags. So there's also the mind game of the CTF itself going on. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, it is. It's like multiplexing AF for sure.
Oh yeah. It's super interesting how this works, and I believe that it'll get bigger and stronger in the future as well. The more people that get because the thing is, you have to essentially go through the qualifiers the day before. So it's really, this competition is for people that are competent enough to compete. And I think over time, I know it sounds basic, but I know over time there's going to be a ton more people in this industry and or hobby, whatever you want to call it. And this is going to be, like I said in the beginning, the next football. People are going to be excited to watch people do CTFs.
Yeah, I remember having my mind blown when I learned that the turnout, the attendance for like StarCraft championships was bigger than the Super Bowl. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I thought like the Super Bowl was like the thing. And it turns out, no, like StarCraft is more popular.
I didn't even know that. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think that was like 2012 or something like that. That was like my first introduction to esports, and I was just fascinated that so many people were engaged like that.
Yeah, and this is I think this is the beginning of something huge.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It has been super fun, and I hope we get to keep doing it.
Yeah, and you will. there's always going to be a drive for people to do better. And I think that if they can showcase their skills on a live stream to people around the world, I think it's going to keep happening. I mean, look at the sponsors that you guys have already. It's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, Marina, if we bounce over to Salesian, Salesian is kind of moving along here. They're not yet to the next flag, but I think they're headed in the right direction, and they've got a PHP info page up. So I can't tell whether I believe I'm not sure whether the PHP info page that they I'm sorry?
It was there.
Yeah. I'm just not sure if it's on the remote host that they're targeting or if it's on like their own VPS, like their own EC2 instance or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen a few of the players that have had it up.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where it's at though. I don't know if he.
Just so y'all know, Hello Friend and Maxwell are now on the scoreboard as well. So we have almost all of our players in the scoreboard, and we just officially started our mid game. We're going to our second hour of the CTF tonight.
Awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, Fusion calling out missing is that LC flag in FUF? And I'm not like, I mean, I like FUF. I'm not familiar with that specific flag. Fusion, what's the LC? Ignore comments. Oh, okay, nice. I see maybe. Yeah, super cool. Like O'Day, what's your go-to for web app enumeration in terms of something like FUF or GoBuster?
As of right now, I just switched to Ferox Buster. You used that tool yet?
I have not. No.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Everything's being rewritten in Rust, and it's for us, it's great. Ferox Buster is, I mean, the only thing that it doesn't do, you can't specify a specific parameter to fuzz, but for directory brute forcing, it has auto recursion. It defaults to Raft Medium, which is in SecList, and you can on a good server, no exaggeration, 20,000 requests in less than 2 minutes. It's
wow,
unbelievably fast. You can and similarly to FUF or WFuzz, where you can hide lengths or hide word counts, or it has all of those features. It has proxy integrate. I mean, it has everything you would ever want in a directory brute forcer. It other than a specific parameter to fuzz. I mean, you can even fuzz login. I think you can specify data, but you can't specify a specific. Like I couldn't hit a subdomain with Ferox Buster. Like GoBuster, you could do GoBuster DNS and then the domain website, then the word list.
Yep.
Ferox Buster doesn't have that yet, but I can almost guarantee it's coming.
Yeah, it seems like a good feature to add, but wow, impressive throughput. 20,000 APIs or 20,000 hits in 2 minutes.
It's unbelievable. It's and when you're on a CTF and you're on a VPN, you're going to have it's going to be faster regardless. But on a real world environment, it's still. I had a client that I ran it on, and they had some Amazon AWS servers that I guess upgrade themselves when they need. They're not like load balancers or they're something else. When they need more resources, they actually automatically upgrade themselves. And I ran Ferox Buster, and it upgraded it to their highest tier. Upgraded to.
Oh no!
It's unbelievably fast and good for CTFs and more. You can slow it down, of course, but I think it's going to be the new tool.
Nice. Rip their AWS bill.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Let's see. So Salesian had a payload up that looked pretty good. Hopefully they come back to it, but they were Salesian was doing it looked like some directory traversal there, and then trying to upload like a serialized object, I think. So we'll see if he goes back to burp or not. But we can bounce around. From what I'm seeing so far in the code here, at least the SQL stuff is looking good. It looks like it's all like parameterized queries. So that usually is effective in thwarting SQL injection. And so I think it's this unserialized that Salesian has highlighted. That's going to be the place to go. And then the other thing that I'm noticing here is it's concatenating this path, right? So it's got like some file path and then the file has to start with SESS underscore. And so that's probably a part of like your payload has to be crafted a certain way with the file named a certain way in order to get it to be parsed by this code.
Right.
But yeah, it looks like a gadget here. Solution is anticipating to get a reverse shell. I saw the NCAT listener on the terminal. So let's see what's going on. Got burp repeater, which I always like. I know John Hammond. He likes to do things with like Python and write his own tooling, which I also find super fun. But in the case of like a CTF where time is of the essence, usually I like end up going down the rabbit hole of setting things up in burp and then using at least repeater.
Repeater, and if you're fortunate enough to have Pro, Intruder saves you a ton of time. My theory is I think John writes the scripts out for YouTube, and I think he to teach his viewers how to write something basic in Python to do the same job he could do with burp or with a tool. And you got to get that precious 10 minutes in. So for any content creators, they know that 10 minutes is the golden number for YouTube.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You want your videos to be 10 minutes or more, and it's as John would say, it helps the algorithm.
Good to know. I love it. See, there's our metagaming again. And yeah, the other part that I really like about doing my own tooling is it kind of reinforces my understanding of whatever it is I'm building or whatever it is the challenge is, right? So like if you do one thing in burp, that's cool. Like you might understand how it works, but when you have to write code to actually do the task at hand, then that's how you prove that you thoroughly understand the problem space. Yep.
And I think this is a little bit off topic, but a lot of people like to use Metasploit and use automatic exploits, and the thing that some of them are missing that could be super helpful is to use the proxy feature within Metasploit to route all of your requests through Burp Suite, and you can watch. If you don't understand the code, you can watch the request one by one coming from Metasploit to that web application and back, and then you can have a better understanding of what's actually going on rather than you hit exploit and then you have a shell, and you can get into the habit of doing that, and then when the time comes to a real world scenario, you may not be able to do that, or on certain exams you can't use Metasploit. So that's just sometimes you actually have to understand what you're exploiting.
Yeah, great points. And I love that aspect of burp that you can point other apps into it. And so I find myself using burp in conjunction with SQL Map quite a bit because I want to see what the response actually looked like when the request was made with the SQL injection. Do I need a particular tamper filter to encode a character a certain way or something like that? And burp is instrumental in helping me figure that out and get to the actual SQL injection landing and running correctly.
For sure. And burp, you can set a system-wide proxy. So if something doesn't support proxies, you can force it to with burp.
Yeah, good call. I usually do proxy chains for that. If the app that I'm trying to work with is not proxy aware, I'll do proxy chains and set it in there and then run, and usually seems to work out pretty well.
Yep, and it's helpful for some of those tools that you don't want to reverse engineer to figure out
or add your own functionality.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, I'm pretty sure Selesian is going to get this somewhat soon, but why don't we bounce around and take a look in other places? I saw Maxwell got on the board a bit ago. Why don't we bounce back to Maxwell and see what they are up to? It looks like they are Maxwell doing some searching, Stack Overflow, how to actually program, copy and paste. That's the way that I learned. Just kidding.
Yeah, they say I saw something up on the internet not long ago. How many of you have actually seen the front of Stack Overflow or the home page? Tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, I have not. So I honestly don't know. You could tell me this is what's on the front page, and I would just have to believe you.
Yeah, same to me.
So yeah, it looks like Maxwell is reading through documentation, the core skill set of hacking, as we all know, being able to look things up and learn things on the fly.
Maxwell's just got into this about a year ago. Unbelievable for the amount of time he's spent. And he writes C like it's English, like the English language. He picked up C in months. I don't understand how you can pick up C in months, but this man has.
That is impressive.
Not C plus, C.
I always like C as like a starter language if you're like really serious about learning to program. But it's definitely not user friendly and definitely not as a first language.
No, not at all. And he wrote his own library. He's moved mountains. I speak to him a lot.
Excellent. Let's see. I'm bouncing up to Hello Friend, and it looks like they are checking on one of the PHP files, I think, that came out of the Git repo. And I'm just going to double check the scoreboard here to see what we're looking at. Okay, so 8 players on the board now. Currently on screen, we've got Hello Friend, who is in 6th place. All the players have the same flag. Marina kind of pointed this out earlier, but basically, if you get to a flag first, that puts you above or prioritizes you above the people that also get to that same flag.
And Mr. Holmes is now our 8th player in the scoreboard. Everyone already with the easy flag, and we're going for the mid game.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, let's see. Who are we missing, right? There's one player that's not on the scoreboard because we're down to 9 players currently, and there's 8 on the board.
Maybe Wade? I haven't heard his name.
Yeah, Wade is in 5th.
He's in 5th? Okay.
Yeah. Who am I missing? Nope, not Mr. Gentleman. Oh, Disciple, I guess.
Yeah, it's Disciple.
Cool. No worries. All right.
Looking at Git Dumper right now.
Excellent. And yeah, Hello Friend, looking up PHP object injection. So, and you're right. There's on the screen, there's an example serialized payload. And Ode, you mentioned earlier, it didn't look like a JWT, what we were seeing in the burp repeater request. And you're right, it looks exactly like that PHP serialized object.
Yep. So in that case, you would use that tool you mentioned, PHP, GCC, or GG, or is it GGC or GCC? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I want to say it's the GGC. But I also I normally think of GCC because of the compiler, right? But I just checked PHP GGC, the GNU gadget compiler. No, just kidding. I don't know what the generic gadget chains is what it stands for. Yeah,
it's a good one. There's we just had a challenge on the platform I'm on, TryHackMe, and he actually was in the qualifiers. He had to back out because he's in Germany and it's way too late for him. He has work tomorrow morning, but he created a room, and the foothold was a PHP deserialization attack, and you had to use that specific tool with a gadget.
Very nice.
Not long ago. It couldn't have been more than a month ago.
Nice.
Yep. So if anyone's interested, obviously jump over there. The room's called Enterprise, and there may be a write-up. If you're not familiar, there may be a write-up available for it somewhere on the internet if you want to learn about PHP deserialization.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for the recommendations. It looks like Blackjack redeemed a question, but we didn't get the question, unfortunately. I don't know if it's maybe an issue with the way that the question system is set up, but Blackjack, if you're on and watching this, let us know what your question is. You can just put it in the Discord chat, and then we'll try to answer it.
I believe the question is how to not get overwhelmed learning SQL injection.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Ode, I'll let you go first on this one.
I didn't hear what you were saying. I was reading the chat.
Yeah, no problem. So Blackjack asks us how to not get overwhelmed learning SQL injection.
I mean, you could check out Portswigger to learn some of the basic use some of their basic labs, learn about just basic SQL. And what I tell most people when they want to learn SQL injection is learn SQL first. Learn how to actually query a database and understand how it works. Because if you want to inject one, you might want to understand what you're injecting. And I would start with the learning SQL and do some labs with basic SQLi, and then do some more advanced labs on a few other platforms, and then always run SQL Map. But you can't rely only on SQL Map because of many reasons. I mean, there's rate limiting, there's anti-SQL Map scripts out there. There's a ton of things that you would have to manually enumerate yourself.
Yeah, great suggestions. I always like if you've got time, like learning how the normal functionality works is incredibly beneficial. So Blackjack, if you've got time, build your own web app, right? Just make a web app that uses SQL. There are free SQL databases. There's MariaDB, there's Postgres, MySQL. So like all of those are free. You can just set up an app. There's probably like even I guess probably like the DVWA, the vulnerable web apps, right? Just set that up and go look at what the SQL injection levels look like in the source code. But yeah, like writing your own SQL will get you an understanding of what the application looks like under the hood. And then that is very informative as an attacker, because when you're thinking about or a CTF player, when you're thinking about how to break an application, if you can have like some kind of general premise or hypothesis of what things might look like behind the scenes, it's way easier to figure out which direction you should head in or things to try, as opposed to just being like, I'm copying this command from this page about SQL injection and not really understanding what's going on.
Yeah. It's if something's vulnerable to an injection and you get an error, you need to know what to do with that error. Or let's say it's blind and you copied a command off a website and you have a 5-second load time, then maybe it's time based, and you need to understand the differences between those before you can proceed with a manual injection. So it's a lot to learn because there's a ton of different databases out there, but they all have similarities, and understanding the concept is the concept of the query language, and then move on to the exploitation.
Yeah, and some of those SQL injections can get pretty wild and pretty complex. So if you have an understanding of, at least a basic understanding of SQL, it makes it way easier to kind of parse what's going on, as opposed to just seeing, this huge blob of query language on the screen and feeling overwhelmed by it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Really the craziest part about it is it hasn't changed much. Developers make the same mistakes and the same injections are possible.
Yeah. The bug class is still around. A lot of frameworks have helped address that, right? Like I think Ruby on Rails, I think Laravel maybe as well, but a lot of the common frameworks for applications have safe queries now. So as long as you're using the correct APIs, you should be good to go. I worked at a company and they had their own internal framework, but it was basically like you had to use their APIs to do data store queries. And that prevented you from accidentally introducing SQL injection into your code. So that's the approach. Hopefully that's the future of like where everything ends up. And then we just entirely eliminate the bug class of SQL injection. I say that from the perspective of people trying to keep people safe, keep people's information safe. From the hacker perspective, I won't be sad if SQL injection is around until I die.
Likewise. I mean, it's right now. I mean, Facebook created GraphQL, and there's GraphQL Map now, and GraphQL is extremely powerful. GitHub even runs on it. It's an entirely different thing. It's basically JSON's JSON. MySQL and JSON had a baby, but giant queries.
Nice.
It's really, if you're not familiar with GraphQL, I'd highly recommend that. because a ton of the platforms in the HomSec, and I don't know if he's in the chat, he can confirm a lot of these bounty platforms are running on GraphQL and a combination of GraphQL and JSON Web Tokens.
I'm just gonna check on the scoreboard real quick to see how we're doing.
I just had
course
it
it's down.
Yes, I just had it here on screen that the scoreboard is down.
Thank you for whoever did that.
I'm pretty sure I know who did it, but let's just pretend we don't know.
Sure, we won't wrongfully accuse anybody.
Mm-hmm.
On the screen right now, we're looking at Selesian, and it looks like they are working with maybe a null byte injection along with URL encoding or URL encoding. I don't know how people pronounce it.
Earl.
Guys, I want to run to the bathroom real quick.
Cool.
Okie dokie.
We'll be here.
Should I just stop the camera or just leave the chair?
No. You can just leave it there.
Yep. Cool.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
All right.
Oh, the staff is saying NahamSec is in both channels. That is impressive because I know he doesn't speak Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. So Naham, you're dedicated, bro. I like this.
Okay, so Def Hacker asking what is actually happening right now and what are the competitors trying to do. So right now there is an environment that's been set up intentionally with vulnerabilities in it for the players to work their way through by hacking and finding and hacking the vulnerabilities. So the end goal is to collect the flags as you work your way through the environment. And the flags are basically your proof that you got to a particular point of access. So the first flag, it was in a Git repository, but you had to find the Git repository, right? And so it's just kind of like exploring the environment and working your way through it. That is the whole premise here. And then specifically right now we are watching Selesian, and it looks like they are trying to do some testing on a payload, which will then, I guess, become part of their exploit going for the next flag.
And it's important here to say we don't actually know what the solutions here are for these flags, for these challenges. So we are narrating. So N80 and Ode are narrating. Live. Really, we're just watching whatever the players are doing together with y'all. So in order for us not to give any hints and just not give any hints because we want to, but whenever the hints happen, they happen freely and spontaneously. That way we the hosts can also have just as much fun by learning with the process.
Yeah, exactly 100% to all of that.
Blue Dragon Sack say tried to open the Portuguese stream at the same time and got a brain meltdown. Yes, welcome to my world. That's why I'm very quiet throughout the streams, because I'm watching both streams at the same time, just to be sure we're all in sync and there's nothing happening that I need to report here for y'all.
Oh yeah.
Say hi to Brazil. Hi, Brazil. Yeah, povo.
Fusion, absolutely correct. Marina, you are the real MVP, bridging the gap.
Whenever a social engineer is quiet, beware. Some shit's happening there.
All right, so Selesian was doing some experimentation, it looked like, with how a null byte would be handled as part of a file name, or trying to get a file name parsed correctly by using a null byte. Excuse me. And And I really like this approach, right? This is, I think the term is REPL, R-E-P-L, and I always forget what it stands for, but basically like the interpreter is running in a loop, right? And you can put in code and see the results immediately. And so from that, you can iterate on your actions, on your tests. And so in this case, Solution is just testing like, okay, if I run this API, path info, and I pass it, this string, a.json null byte.php, what does it look like to the interpreter, right? And so this is a great way to test. This is how I debug things sometimes or test ideas that I have for payloads. And you can just kind of iterate, make changes, and see quickly what the result is locally without having to wait on the whole transaction going back and forth between you as the client and the target as the server.
Yep. Well, a REPL is a print loop. It's a read eval print loop.
Thank you. Nice.
Scoreboard is back, y'all.
Nice. Don't tell Nahamsek.
I'm pretty sure he already knows.
So yeah, I like this approach, right? So here, Solution is testing the path info API in PHP, and then seeing what the attributes are when you pass it a particular value. So in this case, he's passing a.php with a binary null byte, and then followed by .json, and then seeing that the way that path info handles that particular string is that it breaks it out into these different attributes. It's an array that has associative array that has 4 attributes: dir name, base name, extension, and file name. And then my take is that in the actual code that Solution wants to target, he needs one of those or more of those attributes to be a particular value. And so he's just testing currently how to make sure that the value ends up as the whatever he wants. So yeah, hacking, lots of testing and experimenting for sure.
Ode is paying attention and very concentrated at something. Do you see something that you're liking there?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was checking out Ferox Buster on Disciple, and seems like he's grabbing a ton of Git files, but not grabbing all of not using Git. I saw that he downloaded the last time we had him up, so I was curious to see what he was doing there.
And it looks like betting is closed now. So if you missed it, sorry, I missed it. I just tried to bet. And,
You were the one telling everyone to bet as soon as possible.
I was caught up. I was excited watching the hackers go at it. That's all right. I'm okay with it. Yeah, let's go check in on another player. Ode how's Naughty screen looking? Anything cool going on there?
He has s.json up, and it looks like he's got an IP and a port in there, so it seems like he's got something to upload.
It was sweet.
Oh boy, it's one of those screens where you can barely see anything.
Did he get a flag? Oh no, it's just checking for solves. I held my breath for a brief moment.
It does seem like he got somewhere a little bit closer, because I don't know if that vector is something that returned from the server that he. It's test.json. I'm assuming he put it there. I don't know if he needs to serialize it or not, but I would assume so.
Yeah, I think you're right. And transform it into the into the actual serialized object.
Yeah.
But this is cool. This is a good test, right? We see that vector value as image source, and then it's just got an IP address and a port. I'm expecting that that's the IP space for the VPN that the players are all on for this environment. So this is a really cool test to see, did your thing actually get processed somewhere? Did your payload get processed somewhere? Because if so, you'll see a request fire out to this service, probably has like a netcat listener or something on port 1234, and that will tell you like, cool, I've got some interaction going with the remote server.
Absolutely. So this is used a lot in XSS as well, for session hijacking or defacement, where there's a ton of different things with XSS. But my point here is image SRC or SVG on load, or anything that you can load a link into, you can see if that request comes back. Dual core set.
Yeah, super cool. I've seen CTFs that's a great bug in real life when you have other users interacting with the application, and you have a user, maybe an administrator that has a more privileged account than you. And O'Day, as you called out the session hijacking, right? With your cross-site scripting, you could potentially grab their cookies and then pull the session out of it, that you could then use on your own, copy over for your browser and assume their session. In the case of a CTF, I've seen people use like Phantom, right? And you can create a bot that emulates being a user. It'll browse to a page, run the JavaScript that's on the page, and then it's got usually some kind of like privileged session or whatever that you could pull out to try to fit the real life experience or the real life scenario into the CTF format.
Understood. Yeah, it's used quite often in CTFs with XSS. So there's in the real world, a lot of times you're going to have HTTP only cookies. When you try to steal a session with a HTTP only cookie, you're not going to get a return, and you can't steal the session. So there's a I can't remember the term for it, but I'm actually curious. Let me look this up real quick. HTTP only. It starts with a C, but I don't remember the name of it. I didn't understand it either. I don't know. I'll have to get back on this one, but
no worries. And this is for you're talking about for bypassing the HTTP only attribute on the cookie.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, I forget. There's a name for it. It's not a common name. It's something that I've never seen before. Yeah.
Nice.
So Disciple is now on the scoreboard. So we are officially with all the players in our scoreboard, everyone with the easy flag. So
Awesome.
yeah, everyone with 150 points. Silesian in first place because he was the first to submit the flags.
Woo.
And I just switched off to Silesian screen now. Not only because he's first, but because the other player's screen was unreadable. Sorry, everyone. We keep repeating to the players so they have bigger fonts so we can actually see what they're doing.
Yeah, usually like when I present or demo something, I'm like, increasing the font size like 3 or 4 times, but sometimes I forget, so it's understandable. Let's see. So yeah, still working on this serialization bug. I saw a different player had, they had gotten a JSON payload into the upload, but it was just like a very basic skeleton. So I think figuring out how to handle the file naming, whatever the filter is, it's checking the file name is, it looks like the crux currently. And Def Hacker.
Yeah,
Sorry,
people in
go
the
ahead.
chat asking, is Silesian actually developing an exploit from scratch?
I guess yes and no, depending on what your definition of from scratch is. So in this case, yes, like Silesian is working on the exploit from from nothing, just figuring out what the application looks like, how it's handling data, and then constructing the payload for the exploit. But and so like in that regard, yes, creating from scratch, but using Burp Suite Professional. And so they're not writing like a from scratch exploit delivery mechanism, like they're not writing like a Python script or something like that to interact with the service. So I would say yes, they're doing it from scratch. This is not something that you would find in like Search Exploit or like Exploit DB. So yeah, in that regard, I would say from scratch.
Well, I found what I was looking for. It's cross-site tracing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's something pretty old, but it is a way around HTTP only cookies, and I don't know much about it, but I know that it's a method, and I need to learn more about it.
Very cool. Yeah, and well, that is always super valuable, right? To have an understanding or some idea of what you don't know, so that you can go learn it.
To get my my time into.
And yeah, cross-site tracing. Wow, you're right. It is an old one. It's one that I remember learning about when I was initially starting to learn web application security. And at the time, I almost never saw HTTP only cookies. So, but I would find servers that had the trace verb or trace method enabled. So I'd be like, yeah, this could be vulnerable to cross-site tracing, but you don't have HTTP only set on your cookie. So really, you've got some groundwork to do before you worry about the cross-site tracing. For
sure. And the minimal knowledge I have of that attack vector, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to submit some type of XHR request on behalf of the user in the payload to return the cookie through that request in a trace request.
Yeah, I guess so. It's been so long that since I looked at it, I honestly don't remember anything other than just it uses the trace HTTP verb.
And I like I said, I need to look into it, but so many sites now are using HTTP only. It's tough to get a session hijack on a new site.
Yeah, which is good. That's how it should be.
Yeah, it's a good thing for security.
Yep, set those cookies to HTTP only and secure.
So the drunk nun here on the chat said they are the one that gave the PHP GGC hint back in the Brazilian chat, I believe. So if the English speakers players are listening in, so I guess there was a hint in the Brazilian live stream to use PHP GGC.
Nice.
So now you know.
Yeah. Well, good to know that other people think like us. We've got a good consensus on using PHP GGC.
Yep.
And Def Hacker asking, would using a cracked burp suite be a disqualifier? And I don't know that anything is cracked. I think, although, yeah, you're right. Up at the top there on Burp Suite Professional, there's all the license to all the Ks, and then it says craqueado, which is cracked, I'm asserting. Ks are like laughter in Brazilian Portuguese.
Yeah, license to and law cracked. All right, we don't know. We never had this happen.
But I mean, I have software that I've paid for, and when it asks for what's your name, I put in hack all the things or whatever. So it'll say and specifically, I love it when it's licensed to hack all the things, and I'm like, yes, I am licensed to hack all the things.
Or infected device or something like that.
Yes, I also I have a host name of infected, so it worked. People are like, there's a device on the network called infected that doesn't look good.
I like that.
And then they find out it's mine, and then they're even more worried.
Yeah, something funny, which I mean, if anyone ever finds out where I live, it's not too hard. My password for my Wi-Fi is I don't know. So, they just and, they drive up out front of my house and be a man in the middle of me. You guys have the credentials now. It's on the top 1,000 words.
Mine, when I was growing up as a teenager, I would put bad words and curse words as someone. If someone would ask me, I would just say, "I don't fucking know. Try to figure it out." No, I'm serious. What's the password? I don't fucking know. Try to figure it out. That's the password.
It's better than the standard FBI surveillance van.
Exactly. It's still not that good, but at least you can have some fun.
Oh, yeah, for Sure, and I want people on my network. You know, I get a growl notification the second somebody connects to my network. I got a honeypot on a Raspberry Pi in the closet that I won't disclose on Twitch what will happen if you connect to it. But it's that honeypot. And but if you do connect, I have told many people the password for that Raspberry Pi is in SecList, and it is connected to my home network. If you can break out, which there is a way to break out, you're on my home network. I'm willing to take that risk. So
Nice.
yeah, anybody that wants to give it a shot, 0day.expose. That's the host name.
Nice.
It's a little CTF at your home's Wi-Fi, you know.
Yeah. House.
I used to have my SSID on my Wi-Fi was the string password is you can use my computer. And that was not the PSK. It was not the key to get to authenticate. But I figured it was like maybe a legal justification. So if somebody tried to get on my network and I ended up hacking their machine, technically they sent the words, you can use my computer to me.
Wow.
And so I don't think that would stand up in court, but I always thought it was a funny idea.
I don't think that's legally binding, but
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
all right, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Everything looking the same. Salesian still first. Everyone with the easy flag. We are approaching late game. We are 20 minutes away from late game. Maybe we'll have a new hint or not. I don't know how's everyone doing with the hints in the Twitch store, or if Nahum Sek is already spilling hints there in the Portuguese chat. I don't see him there, so I think everything is under control.
I wanted to call out here. Salesian had a really cool technique for kind of fuzzing the injection character for how to get like the JSON file situated. And so what Salesian's done here is they're using Burp Intruder, and they've set up a list of payloads for all of the hex encoded byte values. So everything from 00 up through FF, covering all 256-bit possibilities. And so then they just ran that, and then they looked through that list for different response sizes. And it looked like %2F, which I think is a slash, came back with the highest response size. And then it looked like one other one, maybe a blank, came back with a different response size as well. Yep. Yeah. Fusion confirming it's a slash. And so I've used this kind of approach or method, a number of times where you just send in a bunch of values and then you look at and see how the service responds, and you look for anomalies in the responses. And so we'll see if maybe that's the way to go. I'm kind of with what the initial approach was of using a null byte, or maybe like having a duplication, like .json, right? Or like .js, .json, .on or something like that, or on, right? So because you might have the server side code filtering out the file name, right? It might be looking for like replace .json with like nothing, as an example. Looks like we're running back through Intruder again here. Has it started? Starting. All right. Yeah, Burp had to go find some memory it could use first because it's already using all of the memory probably.
It is a memory hog for sure.
I saw somebody tweet that I think they also live in Texas, and they were like, to keep my office warm, I have opened Chrome with 10 tabs.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I was sharing my screen at work, and I had 50 tabs opened because I was doing a research, and my coworker was like, "Are you using Chrome? Are you like a wizard? How are you doing that? I think your house is gonna explode." But I was using Brave, and I was like, "Are you fucking crazy? I would never do that shit in my own house." I like the place that I live in.
Yeah, browser influenced house fire.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see that headline someday in some paper. Florida woman runs 20 tabs, 20 Chrome tabs, and burn her house down.
Oh yeah, I was just sharing a Florida man story last night. I was with a friend. Crazy driver down, and she's running things over, hitting stuff, and a cop comes out of nowhere, or she runs from the cop, and the cop just says, he asked us, the cop says to us, what happened? We told him what happened, and he said, oh, well, I know her, I'll let her sleep it off, and I'll deal with it in the morning. And we were like, do you want the video? Because we recorded it. And he said, no, I got enough charges on her, don't worry about it. And this girl took off on him. So that's
wow.
an idea of how Florida is. I don't know what is. This happened last night at 11 o'clock at night.
I got it. It's my turn to tell a joke. Do you know why the cyber criminal was not caught in Florida?
I don't.
Because he ran somewhere.
He ran somewhere.
Oh, Fusion, you're ruining my joke.
I think you ruined the joke.
Mom and Dad hacker.
Blue Dragon sack, you guys, isn't this sweaters? Maybe.
It very well might be. I'm just waiting for the day when the fire marshal is investigating an arson and they find that the fire started with a computer and they have to bring in a forensics expert to confirm that too many browser tabs were open that actually caused the fire.
That would be an epic story.
Get me the digital forensics investigator.
I wonder if there's any motherboards out there that wouldn't detect it. You know, every single sensor goes bad, and the thing lights on fire. Is somebody else? That's got to be somebody that liked my computer science joke just with a different alias. I'm not going to out you, but I've got my suspicions as to who you are.
I love that somebody else said, bring back dual core CS dad jokes. She just replied, please no.
All right. This is interesting. Fusion is, we're looking at Selesian. Selesian was changing their DNS server. I wonder what was going on there. Setting it to Cloudflare. Wow, I'm like really surprised that that nobody's gotten this yet. I guess one of the things that's fascinating to me about UHC is the player skill sets are always different. And so you might have, a week where nobody's worked with this kind of bug before. Excuse me. And then you might have a week where we've seen this happen with Selesian, where the bug is something that he's done recently. And he's like, oh yeah, like I know this because I just did it. And he like flies right through the challenge. So you never know what you're going to get, both on the challenge side and how that aligns with the player skill sets.
Right. But I was just checking out Naughty's stream, and Naughty had some serialization up. It looks like he's writing something as well. Not entirely sure what he's doing, but there we go.
Yeah, let's bounce up to Naughty and check in on them. But yeah, you're right. They've got Burp Repeater up, and that looks like a pretty promising payload. You got the URL encoding. They've got the file naming. It looks like this SESS_ prefix, which was one of the checks, and the file ends in .json. And then they've got their serialized objects. So hopefully, I think the one thing that I see that looks like it might need a modification is I think isAdmin was set to 0. And I think here you need to set it to 1. But let's see what comes back. Oh, right. Yeah, that's another thing, right? Is I guess you've got your session ID, so probably don't need to figure out what the actual session ID is. It's probably the same one, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So yeah, fire it off. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. If he can hear us.
Yeah, hit send. Go. This is like our meme of hosting. We call it yelling at the screen, where we want a player to do something, but they're either not listening to the stream, or there's like, the delay, and so we're like, come on, do the thing, but it's like not happening immediately.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like sports. I'm not a sports guy, but people scream at the screen, and I think to myself, what are you gonna do by yelling at that player from halfway across the country? But I guess.
Yeah, in this case, we do have the potential for the player to hear us and actually act on our demands.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to follow along in this, and I have an idea of what I would be trying, but I don't know that it's not a clear path for me, even watching this from all these perspectives. I know if it was me in their shoes, I would just be buzzing the different gadgets and trying all the payloads.
Yeah, the initial thing that came to mind for me was that you've got those session files from the Git repo, and so in the session files, they've got that field of like, is admin set to 0? And I think we saw in the PHP code, there's like a check is admin set to false? And so that would be one thing that I would be messing with, is like, can I just switch that 0 to a 1 and gain admin privileges in the web app?
Yeah.
And then if that didn't work out, then I would also be trying and even if it did, I'd still want to try, like you said, Ode, generating a gadget with PHP GGC and seeing if I can get some kind of like code execution.
For sure. Yeah, that's Boolean is admin works more, a lot more times than most would expect. When creating an account, sometimes developers will leave a parameter, it's just admin or is admin, or it'll say type equals user, and there's a ton of those out in the wild. And in this case, I mean, you'd be manipulating the session, but I'm talking in a different context by user creation or updating a user's profile on a website. It's out there. I mean, I've run into it a lot myself in the wild, not just CTFs.
In those situations where you find these kinds of bugs in the wild, are you using any specific tooling to like find those types of bugs faster, or are you just kind of doing it manually, seeing what the traffic and the requests are looking like?
Yeah, I have a specific tool set for my recon, and then I go in and do some manual enumeration after that. And then I like to learn, as much as I can about a platform prior to trying to exploit it. And a lot of people don't do that. They get laser focused on a specific thing where they're getting some weird behavior, and then they lose themselves in that specific thing. And I feel like if you have an understanding of how the whole platform works, or a good portion of how the platform works, how it communicates with itself, you have a better chance of exploiting it. And I don't think there's a tool as of 2021 that's going to pick up on that every time, at least. So my automatic recon tools are Burp Pro, even Nick2, which I know is old, but sometimes it wins. You get some quick wins with Nick2 and Virox Buster, Go Buster, WFuzz, FF, Arjun for parameter mining. I use a ton of different tools for recon.
Yeah, great call out, and kind of circling back to your recommendation about learning to write SQL. Is that same exact thought, right? Of like understanding what's happening behind the scenes, what the application's actually doing, that enables you to move forward with your progress on hacking stuff in so many cases.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Usually, you're not going to be finding a payload on Payload All the Things, or the first page of Google that's going to work on a website, a modern website, or especially bug bounty programs, because anything public is, you're just not. It's just not likely. You're going to submit a duplicate, or it's just not going to be vulnerable. So a lot of manual enumeration or exploitation is required if you're interested in real pen testing. CTFs, it's a different story.
Yeah, good call. And in Bug Bounty, I feel like some of the programs are just so competitive where there are so many eyes on, on the targets that it can be tough to find something that hasn't been poked at yet.
Yep. I mean, I don't know how to word it differently. I mean, I'm not as most of you can tell, I'm not a live presenter, but I definitely, I guess, I don't know what the word for it, but I guess my best explanation for it is do manual recon. Don't just rely on automatic tools and payloads from the internet. Use them to learn, but don't rely on them.
Yeah, great call. Having a mix of automation and manual testing is super helpful for sure. And yeah, Fusion, good point. We were talking about so many people have looked at this, or there may not be any bugs left. But Fusion mentions look at sudo, right? Like there's a Prevesc in sudo, and it's been there for ages.
Yeah, 10 years, and people don't like to update, so that will be around a while. Same as Shell Shock. I mean, I remember the day like it was yesterday when Shell Shock was released, and the whole internet was vulnerable.
Yeah,
and my friends and I, hypothetically speaking, we're just having a blast, and it's this one's a little bit more difficult to exploit because you need code execution to make it happen. But it will be there for a long time. It's a rare occurrence of it. But he's right. Fusion is right.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Nadi's still trying to get this to go with the session. Let's see. I'm gonna bounce around a little bit here. I'm just gonna check the scoreboard really quickly just to see where everyone's at, because I think all of the players are on, but they're only at the first flag. Yep. Okay, so everybody's on the board. That's dope. But everybody is just with the first flag submitted. I think there are a total of 3 flags tonight. So we're a third of the way there while being about 2/3 of the way through the stream. The CTF ends whenever a player gets all of the flags or when we hit the 3-hour mark. So that is 8 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what it is for all of the other time zones, but we're like GMT -5, I think, here in Central Time. But yeah, so we've either got 1 hour left or it'll end sooner if some player gets the remaining 2 flags. And I always get a chuckle when you see the players, frustration or aggravation, and we see the E on Nadi's screen. Let's see. I'm going to bounce over to Mr. Gentleman, check in on them, see how they're doing. Mr. Gentleman currently in 4th place, if I remember correctly, getting that first flag after John Rivers, Nadi, and Selegion. And Mr. Gentleman also working on the serialized payload here. So I think it seems like there's a couple different aspects in play. It's like you've got to submit your payload's got to be serialized data, a serialized PHP object, and then it's got to go up as a JSON file. Those are like the 2 things it appears to be. And so if it's on the file system as a JSON file, the web server won't process it as PHP necessarily, right? So you wouldn't do it as being able to just request the file directly and get PHP code exec. But there could be we saw in the code that the JSON payload does get ingested by the unserialized method. So there might be a path to code execution there, or there might be a path for elevating your privileges within the scope of the web app, potentially setting that is admin attribute to 1 instead of 0. So I think that's what the players need to go for now, and I haven't really seen either of those. But I think here, this particular payload that's being set by Mr. Gentleman looks like it potentially came out of PHP GGC. So there might be some way to get code exec. And I like the testing here. It looks like what they're trying to do is test sleep 10, which would pause execution for 10 seconds. So if you see that your request spins for 10 seconds and then sends you your response back, that's a good indicator that you've actually got the code execution going.
Well, it appeared like it was trying, but it's just reloading.
Yeah, sleep 10 can be a good verification for if the vulnerability or the exploit is blind, which means you don't see the output from whatever code is running. And so time-based attacks can be really helpful there to help you identify whether things are working as intended.
Yep, and also pings. If it's not locked off to the internet, you can try to ping yourself as a preliminary test.
Yeah, great call. Another easy and the thing I like about that is these are read-only checks, right? So you're getting information, but you're not making any change to the remote system. You're just verifying yep, my payload worked.
Exactly. So in that case, I mean, for people that don't know, you would run TCP dump, and then you set your interface, which if it's your publicly facing IP address and you had a port forwarded on your home, you would do ETH0 in most cases, and then a ping is an ICMP. That's the pings are an ICMP protocol. So if you got a ping back from the server, you would know that you have code execution, but you may not be seeing it in your response in burp or curl or whatever you're using to send the request.
Have you ever had anybody? I know you're more of you're an entrepreneur, Ode, but have you ever asked anybody or been asked in an interview what port does ICMP run on?
I've never. So I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, but I started a pen testing company, and I don't even honestly. I'm hiring pen testers. I'm trying to find clients right now. It's brand new. It's a brand new company, but I don't even know what search to be looking for. I go off of experience.
Yeah.
I know I'm not familiar with the interview process at all.
Someone who is familiar with hiring amazing talent is Fuzzy Nop, and they are in the chat with us right now saying it's a trap regarding the ICMP question. But what up, Josh?
Hi, Josh. Welcome. Oh, you know what you should do? You should come be a DJ on UHC some of these days.
Yeah, or a host.
Or a host. Even better, a DJ/host. Now, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, folks that have seen a live dual core show have almost certainly seen Fuzzy Nop, who DJs with me at most of the shows that I was playing before the pandemic. And now Fuzzy Nop is posting these really cool visual effects videos of his DJ sets. So check him out on Instagram and Twitter at Fuzzy Nop, just like his name is here in the chat, and listen to the tunes that he spins and the visuals that he creates, which are always amazing. I miss you, man. I hope you're doing well.
We miss you.
Just checking in real quick here. It looks like Mr. Gentleman still working on this deserialization bug, but getting some promising output at least. I mean, it looks good. It looks like the file's getting up there, whereas I think some of the competitors were having trouble with the uploads. So at least the file is up. Now here in the code, we see there's a line that's, I wish I could highlight it for everybody, but you'll see that unserialized calls file get contents. And then in that path string, there's a requirement there that the file name starts with SESS_. So we that's one of the aspects that's missing here in the payload. They're uploading the file as a.json or b.json or whatever. So that file is not going to get passed into the unserialized call. The code branch is not going to hit that block. Aw. So yeah, I feel like if once there's a number of pieces that the players have to put together here, but once they've got that, they should be able to either elevate privileges as like the admin user, or potentially get code execution, which should get them onto their next flag, I expect. And we are just under an hour remaining, 55 minutes, or 2 flags left, whichever one happens first.
Officially on late game, y'all.
Yes.
And apparently, we're gonna have a hint pretty soon, probably in the next minutes. So keep an eye on the scoreboard because things will probably change pretty soon. I try to buy a hint, try to buy the 2 hints available, and the store apparently is going through a little bit of a technical problem. But I was just now in the Brazilian stream saying, you know what? You can put that on my tab. I promise I'm going to pay pretty soon. So, yeah, the hint is coming. All right, there it is.
So, yeah, it looks like one of the tricks here then is that there is no external libraries. So your gadget can't leverage a separate third-party library. So that part I'm not sure what to do there. I don't know whether PHP GGC actually has a payload for this, or if it relies on all external gadgets. And if that's the case, kind of what we were talking about before, Ode, with understanding, the problem space thoroughly and not relying only on tools, kind of comes back to here, right? Like if your only available option is PHP GGC, but PHP GGC needs an external library in order to construct a successful gadget and payload, then you're out of luck, right? You got to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, you got to figure it out, and at that point, it would be a 0 day.
Yay.
Should we take a look in John the winner? How's it looking? How's it looking there, Ode?
It's looking all right. He's doing some source code analysis, and going back to what you were saying, that it is admin equals false in the else statement there. And yeah, I mean, I can't read it well enough.
Oh, right. That's right. John had the tiny font.
All right. He's the one that's really hard to see.
Yeah, and I feel like his screen always has trouble loading in Discord for us. I don't know why.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
Session name guess.
Ah!
If file exists, session underscore. And yeah, so it's trying to unserialize file get content session path dot sesh and then the session ID. So if that exists, I don't know what it's doing, but if it doesn't exist, then I'm assuming it's giving you guessed if that doesn't exist. I can't read it very well. It's super blurry for me.
Yeah. I think you nailed it. So that means another variable here is session underscore path, right? Understanding what that path name is. And so based on its casing in the code, all caps, usually in PHP code, when I see variables that are all caps, they're usually created by a define. So I would be doing like a quick check to say like, what is session underscore path? Like, where is it defined, or how can I find out what that is? So that I have an idea of like where I need to upload my file that's got the serialized payload in it.
Right, which it's saying, it's saying it's in that directory. I don't know which file this is. So this is helper/session.php. So if they know what system they're working with, I would be going on GitHub and trying to find the source code and figure out where this file could potentially be located.
Well, they've got the source code, right? It was in that Git repo. So they
don't have the instructions. They don't have the documentation on this. I don't know. Do you know what platform this is?
I think it's a custom one that's made specifically for UHC for this challenge. Like I think the UHC challenge authors made this code.
Wow, that was fast.
So yeah, on Salesian's screen, he's got Visual Studio Code up, which kind of has like a nice file tree layout on the left side. So it's not a huge framework. There's only a handful of files there, but yeah, that's definitely a variable that would need to be solved. Is where is session path? How do you get your serialization payload into that directory so that it does get read by that file get contents API, then that data being passed into the unserialized API, which then should get you your code execution.
We're about to find out, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I'm kind of surprised to see Salesian going back to enumeration here, looking for potential endpoints or files that are being served up by the web server. I would expect I would keep pushing on that serialization bug, especially given the context that that's what the hint says. So kind of surprising, but also understandable to have a different perspective when you're playing as opposed to being the host and not being under any pressure.
Yeah. I've never been in a live CTF where there's actual hosts presenting my content, so I don't know what that feels like, but I'm sure it's stressful. Yeah.
The closest that I've been is the final DerbyCon. I was in the OSINT CTF, and they had like the people hosting the OSINT CTF would walk around with a microphone and ask the players questions like, what do you use for finding this kind of thing? Or like, what's your favorite OSINT tool? And even that was pretty distracting, kind of pulling you away from what you're trying to focus on. So I can understand, being distracted or thinking, thinking about different rabbit holes, knowing that your screen is being broadcasted everywhere. Plus, like Marina mentioned, there's 2 Twitch streams going. There's the Discord chat. There's like all these other potential distractions happening at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And even myself, just being a host tonight, not even playing, I'm having all kinds of brain farts, not remembering. It's not something I'm used to,
For sure. Super fun though.
Yeah, it's super fun, and I have a Twitch channel. I should definitely use it. I have people that would watch. It's I just haven't done it, and I need to get comfortable presenting it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that is how UHC started. Actually, was Igor, the founder. He was just playing Hack the Box on Twitch, and then people started watching.
And as we're seeing here now, the staff just released a hint on the Discord server for all the players. We were watching the Discord server right there from UHC. The players talk to each other. The players help each other. I mean, they don't give no one hints because that's against the rules, but they give each other support. And they're very nice. They're all friends at the end of the day. They've played many UHCs together, and I believe that's the spirit. That's what started UHC. As Intedi was saying, Igor, the creator, he was just playing Hack the Box and CTFs live on Twitch, and a bunch of his friends started joining to help him through the chat. Oh, I think you should do that. I think you should do that. And that became UHC. And then UHC was born itself. And I keep hearing Intedi saying like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like I would never go live. But we've had plenty of like big time hackers here, like IPSec and John Hammond. And the good part of this is to see the mistakes, is to see the process, is to, scream at the screen and cheer and get disappointed and have brain farts and all of that. That's the fun part of it. So fuck the imposter syndrome,
Yeah, for sure. You're right. It's I just need to go for it. I have the support. I just haven't done it. So it's just I'm a person that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I've said I was going to stream. and I definitely will. It's just need to get comfortable behind the camera and mic. That's about it.
Yep.
I have confidence on the keyboard, but when you add the other two elements, it's where it gets a little bit choppy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Subita's next saying here in the chat, too much social media glam about perfect hacking. We all fail until we make it. For me, that's pretty much, hacking is about the process itself. It's the journey, is making mistakes and trying new stuff. And that's hacking. We see people here, we see these kids making a bunch of mistakes and going for the documentations and reading and Googling it. That's hacking. That's hacking live. That's pretty much it. And for less pressure for those who want to play here on UHC and have fun with us, if you noticed, we barely go to the ones that are on last place because we want to see the action, right? We want to see people hacking. And if you feel the pressure, don't worry, just come to actually play and have fun. Yes, it is all about the fun for sure. One thing I just noticed here in Salesian's screen, he had burp repeater up, was submitting the request over and over and over. The session ID that was coming back in the response was changing with every single request. And so I think Salesian uploaded a file that was called ses_ooga and was trying to find that session ID, but not finding it. And seeing the different session names on the responses made me wonder whether there's potentially an application load balancer in the mix. So that means you could be uploading a file, it ends up on one instance, but then your next request to access the uploaded file hits a different instance where your previous file is no longer there or was never there to begin with. So that's another potential challenge, another variable that could be in the formula.
Definitely.
Scoreboard is down.
Namalot saying I'm gonna have to research this burp, and yeah, definitely take some time to get comfortable with burp. It's such a helpful tool. And Ode, you recommended earlier that Portswigger, the folks that make burp, they've got kind of like their own academy, like training setup that you can do that is free. The labs. And it's a great way to both learn web application security and learn using the tool.
Yeah, they have a ton of labs, all for free, and I think they go through the whole OWASP top 10.
Nice. I'm hoping for the day when the OWASP top 10 becomes the OWASP top 9, because there's only 9 classes of bugs left, and then the OWASP top 8 and so on.
Right.
Let's see.
Would you say you're more of a blue teamer, dual core?
No, I'm a red team. But I try to know as much as I can about both sides, right? I want to know what it looks like on the defense so I can figure out as the offense side how to get around that.
Understood.
And I always think of like IppSec as an example, who's really good. He puts out so many videos of breaking things on like Hack the Box, but his like fundamentals are like in the blue team side. So he knows, like, IppSec is so good at figuring out like what defenses look like, so that when he encounters those kinds of defenses as a pen tester or a red teamer, he's got a workaround for them.
For sure. And I don't know IppSec personally. I was always told though he was a blue teamer. That it got into red team. I'm not sure. Not sure though. I don't know if it's true. That's what I was.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned maybe here on UHC that his day job was blue team, but then I think he took his like OSCP several years ago or whatever, and that's kind of like his like parallel path of red teaming as well, or being on the offense side.
Got it. Yeah, blue teaming is very tough. Going through data and knowing how to use all those forensic tools and malware analysis. It's a tough thing to do. It's its own world. Yeah.
And my background before red team stuff was malware. So a lot of reverse engineering, and I actually FuzzyNop and I wrote some malware when we worked together that would evade the incident response process of where we worked. And this is in our first job together. So it was super fun. We did like some really fun demos with it and everything. But yeah, like that was kind of my background before I got into like red team side of it.
Cool. Oh, that's super interesting. And what did the people you worked for say about that?
I think one of the questions was like, why did you do this? And in that, sorry, go ahead.
I said they should have been impressed.
Right. Yeah. I think in that role, neither of us were in red team positions. And so it was like not in our, work task list to write malware to troll the company, but it was just something that we did for fun.
Got it. I guess some people aren't the same. For me, even if that wasn't your position and in a different world, you worked at my company, I would love that.
Yeah, I like people improving their skills, in whichever regard. And just for clarification for folks that are watching, red team is the designation for folks that are on the offensive side of security. And then blue team is the designation for folks that are on the defensive side of security. I was talking earlier about that like session path constant, right? Session underscore path that's in the code. We see it on Solution screen currently. And I think we probably already have the answer because we can see in Visual Studio Code, there's a sessions directory there. So my expectation is that on the web root, you're going to have, potentially like /helpers /database.php, et cetera. But then all of the session files would live under sessions /sessions/ and then whatever the file name is. So if you can control the file name to something predictable and you upload the JSON file, you should be able to access it under that sessions subdirectory would be my expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So Legion, going back to the testing methodology that we mentioned before, firing up a REPL, which was Ode, read, you said read, evaluate, what was it? Print and then loop?
Yep.
Nice. I finally remembered it. But yeah, an interactive, session with the interpreter so that you can test your PHP code on the fly. And so right now, Selesian is testing what directory traversal would look like in the context of whether the file exists. API handles the directory path resolution correctly or not. Let's see. Oh yeah. Good for. Thanks for asking about like where everyone is from. I'm always curious about that each week because I know like Fusion's from the UK. Sabitas next saying they're from Portugal. Like it's always wild to see folks tuning in from all over the place. So if you're from a cool place, shout it out. Oregon, what up? I love Portland. Portland has a really cool hackerspace that I've been to. Wow, Germany, thank you so much for joining us. What time is it there? It's got to be kind of late, right? Something like 1 a.m. or something. The UK, so cool, it's cold. Canada, what up, Magno? Thanks for joining us. Whoa, Honolulu. Can we come hang out with you? It is cold here in Austin.
Oh my God, please.
I would love to be in Hawaii.
Take me away. Take me away. My body is ready for Hawaii.
Let's see. Yeah, nice. More from Germany. What's up? Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, 2:20 in the morning, folks from Germany watching. Thank you for staying up with us. Appreciate that. Jay Beer is 300 miles out from Portland. That's cool. No worries. Oregon, a beautiful state, regardless. But yeah, it's just amazing. Like I'm always impressed by the fact that folks are joining us from all around the world. So thank you for being here with us. Oh, let's see.
Slim Z saying, I wish I was in Hawaii. I think everyone here wishes we were in Hawaii.
I want to see what that other request was that that Salesian had. There it is. So I wonder. It looks like Salesian trying to control the session name with a file name that looks similar to the other previous existing sessions.
Oh,
Whoa.
damn, Moscow.
Okay, we'll have to stop complaining about it being cold because Moscow is like actually cold.
They're just there laughing of our of our childish whining about cold.
Russians would be out in like shorts and flip flops in this weather here in Texas. They're like 0 Celsius. Pff, that's spring. Yeah. All right. Let's bounce to see if anybody else is making progress. Let's check on Mr. Holmes. We haven't really seen their screen much during UHC.
O'Day, are you okay? Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about it?
We have a little counseling session here. I'm looking at the when I look this way, I'm looking at the Discord.
Nice.
This is the Twitch, so I'm just reading the chat, and people are saying it's unexploitable. Lesion unexploitable.
Slims had a question for you, O'Day, about your background, whether you're self-taught or if you had official training.
Oh, yeah. So I was self-taught, and somebody's calling my payphone right now. But I was self-taught. I learned, like I said, I've been doing this about 17 years, and it's I guess just time did that. You know, I know a lot of old exploitation techniques, a lot of, you know, I guess it's a time thing. But yeah, self-taught, no school, and no cybersecurity jobs in my life. It's just been a hobby for me and a big part of my social life. I mean, yeah, I could go into more detail, but it would take too long, I think, to explain my story outside of hacking, because it intertwines, but it's I'd be going way out of scope.
Yeah, a good call out on the social life aspect as well, right? You know, we generally think of hackers stereotypically as being introverts, but I've met pretty much all the people I know in life through hacking. I met Marina at a hacker conference. I've met, you know, so many people at hacker conferences and hacking meetups, so many of the people that are in my life. And so without hacking, I would have probably no social life. Okay, so we got over to Mr. Home screen. They did have PHP GGC up, but I guess they ran into some TMUX issues. Here we go. All right, let's see if they get back to PHP GGC, because we actually haven't seen anybody use it, I don't think. We see some payloads get put in place, but we haven't seen the actual generation of the payload. So I'm curious to see what folks are doing with PHP GGC. Reading up on object injection as we do. And this code kind of looks, you know, a bit similar. There's the unserialized function that we see as well in the code from the Git repo. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, cool. We've got a couple different files. There's a PHP RCE exploit and a serial.php maybe for testing. We didn't. I think this is our first time actually looking at Mr. Home's screen, so we don't know, you know, how those files originated. All right, yeah, I guess it's not the first time because I remember the HTTP payload in there. But yeah. All right, setting it up. I think I saw an additional layer of encoding. Nice. Here we go. Trying it as the session ID. So base 64 encoded string. It's running for a bit. Looks like it finished. Usually when stuff starts spinning, I feel like that's a good indicator. Yes, cult should be cool. I believe that was the hint, is that there's a PHP object injection, but we haven't seen anybody exploit it just yet. Let's see. So yeah, I'm really surprised here. There's like in about 30 minutes or whenever the CTF ends, whichever one happens first, we will join the Brazilian live stream where there will be both English and Portuguese, but the creator of the CTF will be there. And so we'll get a rundown on what the challenges were and what the solutions were as well. So I'm starting to suspect that there's some other filtering that's happening that we're not seeing. Like maybe the Git repo is not the current version of the code or something like that. And so that's why we see the players doing the different encoding types, trying to get their payloads to land. So we'll definitely find out in the end here when we do the debrief. Ode, what would you be thinking in this case, right? If you've got like if you've tried a couple payloads, nothing's landing for you, would encoding be the same path that you would go down, or is there a different path that you'd explore?
I mean, these guys pretty much have hit all the things that I would try. I have a feeling that there may be something wrong. I mean, it could just be a mistake, or maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but it seems like from what people are saying in the chat and some of the external feedback I'm getting privately, it seems like there may be something broken. I don't know what the protocol is with that. And this is my first time on here, so I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I hope it's not.
Yeah, hopefully not broken. Broken CTF challenges were the worst. And yeah, with 30 minutes left, I don't know. I would expect maybe they could release another hint or something like that to help people. But my guess is that the other hint probably corresponds to like the next flag.
Yeah, I'm trying to negotiate with the Brazilians.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, I guess. I mean, I don't think I've seen anybody try the admin setting yet. So it doesn't mean that they haven't, because we're only looking at one player at a time. And there are 9 players on. Actually, I guess a few people have dropped, it seems. So our number 4, 5, and 7 slots are now empty, which I can't remember who those players were, but it is monsoon season in Brazil and the infrastructure is not the most stable there. So it's quite possible that the internet is just out for those players and they are unfortunately gone. But I feel like, I'm kind of repeating myself, but I would like to see somebody check for just playing back one of those sessions with just a 0 set to 1 for is_admin, right? Can you just get an admin session that way? And then does that maybe expose some additional functionality for you? In this case, I would expect that all of the code, like my main thinking is that all of the code is in that Git repo. So if you don't see something where there's like a good piece of functionality, like a code exec, system or popen or shell exec or something like that, that's gated by the admin authorization, then I would be going straight for the RCE through the object injection. But worth checking, I think. It looks like Hello Friends is back, so that's good. Well, welcome back. Glad they made it. Okay, yeah. Blue Dragon Sec saying that on the Brazilian live they confirmed that it is actually working, so that's good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I did have a CTF challenge I made once, and when I did my testing, it worked. But I think I deployed the wrong version of the code in the actual live CTF. And then people were like, yeah, like it's not working, it's broken. And I'm like, no, like it, definitely works. I've solved it before. But it turns out I had the wrong version of the code deployed. And so it was in fact broken, unfortunately.
Got it.
But that was many years ago.
Understandable. Do Who is this? Mr. Holmes is doing what you wanted. Is changed his admin to 1.
Yos. Thank you for listening. Let's see what we get. Oh yeah, and they're using Micro, which was your text editor of choice, Ode. Yeah, let's see what we get here. Subita is saying hackers do break things. Yes, we do. Let's see. So I think they're just checking out the exploit payload right now, right? Or maybe this is the script that generates the payload. Got it. Okay. Cool. All right. Now they're copying the base64, decoding it to take a look at the values. Great. Yep. So it's a URL encoded object. Nice. Unsure whether the URL encoding is actually needed or not. I'm unfamiliar. Let's see what they do with it here. Just checking on the chat here. Yeah, Cult should be cool saying pass at ad hoc serialized strings to a vulnerable unserialized call. Yep, I think that is the play. So we'll see how it goes. And let's see. And Ode, you got a +1 from one of your Try Hack Me contemporaries about Micro being for the win.
There you go. Yeah, Sysmix. He's the one that I go back and forth with on the leaderboard.
Yeah. Oh, always on the trail.
Yep. We're friends but nemesis. That's right.
Yes.
Someone in the chat.
Frenemies.
Yeah. We work together on a ton of things, but if there's blood points involved, we hate each other for that few hours.
Nice. That's another aspect I really like about these platforms is you'll get players that are, at the top working with other players as well. And so I love that collaboration. I always felt that I performed better working with other people when I can bounce ideas off of them, right? When you have like a trusted setup where if you ask a dumb question, the other people aren't going to make you feel bad for asking a dumb question, right? Everybody understands that you don't have to know everything. And so having that kind of sounding board where you can bounce ideas and brainstorm is so valuable. This is why we work in teams.
Oh, for sure. And the way that we have it set up is, we all are individuals, and if we had a CTF event, for example, and they allowed teams, we would all work together. But when it comes to a platform where there's a leaderboard for individuals, it's like I said, if there's blood points, we all are individuals. If there's not blood points, we work together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. All right, let's see. They've got the new payload, base64 encoded, loaded into the session ID. It's spinning.
Yeah, S. Diggle's in the chat. They're hacking all the things and drinking all the booze. I'll try hacking.
Very nice. Yeah, I love how there's so much educational content on Try Hack Me. You can literally be like, I want to learn about this thing with regard to hacking and find rooms for it, and go from zero knowledge to a pretty competent understanding.
Yeah, and then for like I said, there's a ton of walkthroughs, and then I guess you could start there and end there, but I recommend starting there, then hitting Pen Tester Lab, and then bouncing around to different platforms, and then coming back to try some of the hard challenges on Try Hack Me. I mean, there's some that are really difficult. I mean, the longest challenge was 30 hours for me. Yeah, 30 hours with help. I actually had hints from the room creator, and it still took me 30 hours. So it's and I believe that myself and one other person are the only two to have solved that room. Try Hack Me has some serious content on it, but it matches all skill levels.
Very nice. Well, kudos on being one of two to solve that challenge. It's always such a cool feeling when you see that, like, not many people solved it and you were able to.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate, I'm not an employee of TryHackMe. I'm plugging them because it's the community that I'm a part of. But I'm not being paid to say anything. I just really genuinely believe it's a great platform.
Yeah, that's awesome.
See on my shirt, and not only that, but on my arm right here,
Oh, sick.
I have an entire hacker sleeve with tucks, some windows. I got your favorite command, RMRF / right here. I got
Nice.
I got the whole entire hacker sleeve.
Excellent sleeve. Very
Yeah.
well done.
So I'm not going to pull my shirt up on Twitch, but Whitey Cracker's got Nerd Life on his stomach.
Yep.
I got a giant Geek Life all the way across.
Nice.
We got that back in the day when Digital Gangster was super popular in the hacking scene.
Yeah. The old DG, the original Digital Gangsters.
Yep, that's it. I mean, it's been a long time in this community for me.
No doubt. Kaczynski asked in the chat, which room was it that you were talking about?
Iris Kaczynski. It's a Windows box part of the WinCorp series, and what happened was, without going, I don't want to give any spoilers but there's write-ups available now, I believe. But you had to have completed one of his previous challenges and had to get a specific key from one of his previous challenges to unlock something on Osiris. And so it requires you to do 2 challenges and do something with a specific tool set that was not anything I've ever seen before, and it's even difficult to find on the internet. So that's what took the time. I was the NT Authority system, like the root user of a Windows machine within a half hour, and 29 hours and 30 minutes being the admin until I got the root flag.
Yeah, I've seen that on some Windows boxes where you can get system but still not be able to read certain files, and so figuring out what it takes to get there can be harrowing sometimes.
Yep, and Windows is my specialty. That's where I'm the most comfortable. I know that for somebody that's not knowledgeable in Windows, that's a very difficult challenge to take on.
Nice. Yeah, I always feel like Windows is I always feel lost when I'm pen testing Windows because I just don't have as much experience there. So I have to refer to my notes way more frequently than when I'm on a Linux box. On a Linux box, I feel pretty at home and I can kind of cruise around, and I generally have some kind of intuition about where to look at things. But on Windows, I'm like, okay, what's the thing that I need to go after here, and how do I do that again? And I have to refer to my notes a lot for that.
Oh, got it. I mean, everybody has their specialty, and there's nobody that's the best at anything. So
yeah, for sure.
That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I love the fact that people are understanding about that, right? It's okay to not be the best at whatever.
Right.
We're checking on Wade right now. Wade is one of the returning champions, has won, I think 5 times or something? 4 times? 3?
Yeah, four times. Either 3 or 4 times.
Got it. And Wade, looking at this Path Info API that we saw Salesian testing with earlier in the REPL, the PHP interactive session. And so I think they're looking at the API docs because we see just behind that in Visual Studio Code, there's a call there, file details equals path info. As a hacker, you are figuring out what that remote code is doing, and then figuring out where the vulnerabilities are, how to leverage that code's functionality.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess I see the file details, but okay, yep. So the check is file details comes out of the path info, and then it checks the extension to make sure it's JSON. Oh, nice, cool. Another cool feature here and use from Burp Suite Pro, I think, the collaborator. I saw that in the payload there. They had a collaborator URL, and I always thought that was a really nice feature of Burp Suite.
Oh yeah, for professional. Even back to the person that brought up the cracked version of Burp. I mean, if they have access to the collaborator, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you have a cracked Burp Suite, collaborator is not going to work for you.
Yeah, good point. All right, so yeah, let's see. Invalid JSON file in the response over there on the right side. Bummer. All right, but Wade looks like he's kind of onto something here. Hopefully we get some results. Let's see what happens. Ooh, that looked good. On that request or on the response, it looked like there was yeah. Oh, go back. Yell at the screen. I think it was tab 6. It looked like it had like some JSON there. So we'll see what we get. I'm gonna laugh if it's something like really simple. I can't tell you like how many times I've gone down the rabbit hole looking for like some complex, payload or attack, and it's like, oh no, you just changed this one thing. That was all you needed to do. I do see here in the payload on the left in the request, Wade does have isadmin set to 1, so that's good, and has changed also the username to being admin. Cool. All right.
Missing the session though, with the session ID, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think that it's in there. I think they've got it URL encoded as part of that file name parameter. So the question is, does the URL or URL decoding happen, or is it trying to write out a file named %2e, %2e, %2f?
Yeah. I'm not sure if in the payload you need to specify the session or not. I don't know. I'd be trying both.
Yep.
We're in our last 15 minutes of tonight's match. I just posted here in our chat that apparently back in the Brazilian channel, the flags develop. How would you say this? The flags builder, the CTF builder
Author, the CTF author.
Okay, the CTF author keeps saying that people should read the code. So apparently it's something that should be in the code.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm asserted that was why the Git repo was available, right? Yeah, read the code. Yes, read RTFC. But yeah, my take on it was the Git repo is available. There's a bug in the application that you can find through looking at the source code. My take is that it's that pass of file get contents into unserialize, and so that's my guess. But we've only caught glimpses of the source code as the players alt tab between windows. I guess there's a number of fields there, so definitely some potential for fuzzing as well, I suppose. Yeah. Ugh. This is frustrating. Just like real hacking, sometimes it just doesn't come to light, and you're like not sure, what the path forward is. Ode, what do you do when you're playing Try Hack Me? You're in a room and you get stuck. You're like hitting a wall. Do you take a break? Do you start over? What are your approaches that you like?
Usually I'll take a break. That's the first thing that I'll do, and then after the break, I'll try. I'll try my best. I'll exhaust all options. I'll do as much research as I possibly can, and then I'll actually reach out to friends, and see if I can get some answers from them or some guidance from people that may know more about that specific topic.
Yeah, excellent techniques. Yeah, I feel like the taking a break, stepping away is like it's an underrated approach. I think a lot of people tend to focus on that like try harder aspect and just, keep hitting their head against the wall until they get success. But, taking a break is also like really valuable for me. Going and just doing something completely unrelated usually will give me some time to kind of process and think of like other ideas. Also, while I'm working, I usually take notes as to what I'm doing, and I'll have like a section called to do. And so just as I see something that looks interesting, I'll add it into that to do section. And so I'll be like, oh, like, I wonder if I pass, this kind of data to this parameter on this page, if that leads to anything interesting, but it's not the bug that I'm looking at right now. I'm, chasing a completely different path. And so that helps me kind of track of like where things were and, what might be interesting to go look at when I run out of ideas or have exhausted the options on the current path.
Right. I understand that.
What do you do for note taking? Do you write everything in like just a regular text file? Do you use mind maps? What's your go?
I use a text file. I'm not very organized with my note taking.
Nice. Yeah, I'm mainly also a text file writer. I've started to mess with mind maps a bit more because when I see them built out, they look like super cool. And I'm like, this is like an amazing thing to show somebody as a deliverable, right? If you could be like, here's like what I learned about your application or your system or your environment starting from nothing. I think that's like a pretty impressive visual. But yeah.
I have a friend that uses them for project ideas and all kinds of other things. And it's mind maps are good for people that are visual learners. I'm not as much of a visual learner as much of I'm a hands-on learner. So when I'm working on a project, I'll take notes on things that I'm not sure that I'm going to remember in the entirety. But usually it's a quick text document. I'll name it something super obvious that I'll remember, and I'll throw it in I have an HAX folder on my desktop.
Nice.
Full of text files and documentation on things that that I'm not it's not burned into my head.
Yeah. Same. I do all of mine in subdirectories and then notes.md, and then I just write all my notes as markdown, and then that way it's easy to find them because like then I can be like, okay, show me all the notes, like find notes.md or type dash name notes.md. Easy.
Understood.
Yeah. Let's see.
So
Wade?
just
Sorry,
so everyone knows, if you're not used to UHC, we have a little bit less than 10 minutes here remaining in our CTF. If things keep the way they are, Sid Legion is going to be the winner. And as soon as we're finished here, as soon as our this 10 minutes are over, we're going to migrate everyone to the Brazilian channel. So we're going to raid into the other Twitch channel. And then there, we're going to interview not only the winner, but also the CTF author. So Kadu will explain to us what the hell was he thinking here when he developed those flags. And we're going to have the walkthrough, the winner's walkthrough and his difficulties with it, and the author as well. So stay with us. You don't have to do nothing if you don't know how Twitch works. The raid happens automatically. We're just going to be transported there into the Brazilian channel. And we're going to have a bilingual walkthrough. So please be patient. We're going to do everything in the two languages, both Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and English. And that's pretty much it. Stay with us and you'll get to know how the players should be solving the challenges.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the bug was. And it's always funny when we get in a situation like this where UHC ends up going the whole time, but we don't get, like, no player captures all the flags. I'm always curious as to what the correct path was, and then whether us as the hosts, whether we were able to figure it out on our own by like guessing at it. So we'll know shortly what that case was. Also, Fusion, thanks for the recommendation on Notable. And I hadn't seen mermaid.js. Mermaid JS for drawing mind maps with code. That sounds amazing and something that I would be interested in. Does with Mermaid, can you just pass it like a JSON file? Like how does it take input? I guess that's my question. Like, can I programmatically generate my mind maps somehow? That would be super cool. Let's see. It has a syntax. Cool. Ode and I are looking at Solesian. I see Wade is still messing with the PHP code. Solesian is writing out their own exploit, I guess, or maybe their own proof of concept implementation. Interesting. Nice. All right. Yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna kind of pop around here to see how other folks are doing. But on Solesian's screen, they've got I think they've got their own PHP file to generate the serialized objects now. Yep. Yeah, right there at the bottom, echo serialized, and then the database class. So here we go. Pasting it in. And I'm like really curious. I wonder if there's a application load balancer here where all of these requests are hitting different instances.
Destroying it right now. That's what's happening.
And Solesian sniffing, but I didn't see what the TCP dump arguments were to, for what they're checking for on the traffic. MySQL is only executing the SQLi function on construct, okay? Or when the, I guess, when the object is instantiated. Okay, just looking around really quickly. And yeah, I really want to see, like, I want to see this payload land and see, what it was that was different.
4 minutes. We're only 4 minutes away from the CTF ending, and apparently 0 Day is completely gone. He's been absorbed. He was absorbed by the CTF itself.
I'm trying to figure this out on my own. It's I don't know how to commentate on it because there hasn't been any progress.
Abducted.
Yeah, it's hard to to not get pulled in and kind of hypnotized by what the players are doing, because you want to solve it as well, right? Yeah,
solve it in my head. And it seems to me, I mean, I'm speaking before they announce it, but I think that this is a load balancer issue.
Yeah, we've definitely seen them. Oh, that could be promising. Getting traffic now on the TCP dump. But yeah, we've definitely seen UHC folks use load balancers on the target environment in the past, which I think makes it additionally difficult.
Yeah,
but it's also realistic, so I'm okay with it. And yeah, Subita's saying, like, we're all biting our fingernails and we all want to hack it. If you want to hack it, by the way, everybody, you're welcome to join us for the qualification rounds on Saturdays. Every single Saturday, a unique CTF in UHC, and then the top 10 qualifiers end up on the live UHC that we are all in right now. So they're each unique environments every single week. So Saturday is a completely new environment, as is Sunday. So definitely jump in, play with us on Saturdays, and then maybe you'll be here with us on Sunday as well. Perfect. And Ode, I think last week when you played the qualifying rounds, I think you got all of the solves faster than anybody else did, if I remember correctly.
I did.
That's awesome, man. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you look at the preliminary round this week? What did it look like?
Yeah, I didn't get past the recon stage. I didn't submit the flag or anything because I knew I was going to be on here tonight. but it was just the initial flag was pretty interesting and actually a great point, like I brought up earlier as well. To
Oh, wait a minute. Look at the scoreboard with 1 minute left.
Is
Naughty.
it down?
No.
Naughty got another flag is now 450 points.
Good job, Naughty.
Woo!
Oh,
My team.
damn. Unexpected.
Go back, Naughty. Show us your payload. What did it do? How did it work?
It's just 1 minute down, y'all.
Nice. Okay, yeah, there it is. The upload session na.json, and then there's the object. Database session uploads, naughty stuff. Scroll to the right, turn on word wrap, something.
And it is over.
Wow, Naughty pulling
That's
it
it.
out
There it is.
just under the wire.
Woo-wee.
Congratulations.
Yep. Literally in the last seconds.
Wow.
Naughty just won the championship tonight
There it
by
is.
going for the hard flag and getting 450 points.
Excellent.
Ooh-wee.
Super cool. Yeah, we see in the top left there with the flag, UHC, PHP, Hacksaw Pro.
Right there. All right. So we are now starting our raid to the Brazilian channel, where we're gonna discuss about we're gonna interview Naughty, and we're gonna talk about the walkthrough with the CTF author. So please stay with us. You don't have to do nothing. You just hang around here with us in the chat, and we're all gonna raid into the Brazilian chat, to the Brazilian channel, and that's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone that hanged around here with us. This has been very interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all on the other channel.
All right.
Peace.